Chapter 81. When Alex was waiting for his second round, he opened his TRH device to see his next opponent. Contestant number 177. Pokemon, Butterfree LV20, Beedrill LV23, Beedrill LV21. Alex, who saw how weak his opponent was, couldn't help but wonder how this trainer survived the first round. After 2 hours, it was finally Alex's turn. When Alex entered the F-Block arena again, he saw the blonde referee and a young man around the same age as him. He greeted referees and the opponent as he got ready. Both Alex and his opponent took out their Pokemon. Kirlia and a Beedrill were standing on the battlefield. Alex looked at the info of Beedrill and quickly became disinterested when he saw that it was an LV23 bronze Beedrill. The referee said, "Both trainers ready?" "Okay. 3, 2, 1, go." Alex didn't want to waste his time anymore, so he said, "Finish it with Psychic." The trainer said at the same time, "Beedrill, dodge and use Poison Sting." Alex started laughing in his mind when he saw that this trainer thought he could avoid Kirlia's Psychic without another move. Kirlia not only had a much higher potential but also a much higher level than this Beedrill, so it simply had no chance to avoid Kirlia's attacks. Kirlia used Psychic and met Beedrill with his Psychic power. Beedrill, who had no chance to evade, suffered a great amount of damage. Its whole body started bleeding when it was hit by this attack. Beedrill's trainer had a worried expression on his face when he saw the damage Beedrill had suffered. The trainer saw that he couldn't win this fight and said, "I give up." The referee said loudly, "Participant 487 gave up. Participant 68 wins this round." The trainer went to the sad Beedrill and encouraged him with a smile again. Alex, who saw this, couldn't agree more. Only trainers who have treats their Pokemon well have a future in the Pokemon world. It's a real surprise to see a trainer who loves his Pokemon so much with such a weak strength. He is a bit similar to Ash. Although he is not a talented trainer, his love for his Pokemon is a huge advantage for him. That is probably the reason why Professor Oak sees Ash as a better trainer than Gary, even though Gary has more talent as a trainer. Most trainers only see their Pokemon as tools. Some trainers see Pokemon as their friends, and very few trainers view their Pokemon as family members. Alex knows that the strongest trainers see their Pokemon at least as friends, and the trainers who treat their Pokemon like family members have a higher chance of being strong trainers. He can count dozens of powerful Pokemon trainers who love their Pokemon very much. It is much less common to find a strong Pokemon trainer who doesn't treat his Pokemon well. When Alex saw the trainer wanting to leave the battlefield, he followed him. He talked to him a bit and exchanged Pokemon training tips. The Beedrill's trainer is called Daniel. In the beginning, he had a very cold attitude towards Alex when Alex tried to talk to him. But after Alex had talked about the possibility of exchanging training methods, he couldn't help but chat with Alex longer. Alex knew that this weak trainer could not offer him any good training method, but he used it as an excuse to talk to Daniel. The more he talked to Daniel, the more he realized how cold Daniel was to him, and the more he felt that Daniel would become an excellent subordinate for him. Daniel lost his parents in a Pokemon riot a few years ago. He lived a tough life with the compensation money received from the Alliance. Alex also noticed that Daniel was talking about the Alliance with an unfriendly expression. Although he did not say negative things about the Alliance, Alex did notice his dislike of the Alliance. Alex couldn't help but think, something is definitely wrong here. His parents were killed by the Pokemon riot, and he is a Pokemon trainer who likes his Pokemon very much. The Alliance gave him enough money to support himself, and he still has that look on his face when he talks about the Alliance. He's hiding something from me. But Alex had to admit that it made sense that he wasn't going to tell him his life story. Which fool would tell a person they hardly know everything about themselves? The fact that he talked a little bit about his past already shows that he had a relatively good impression of Alex. Alex and Daniel talked to each other while Alex was waiting for his next opponent. After an hour, Daniel left, but not before giving Alex his contact details. Alex had a good impression of Daniel after this talk. Relatively cold to people. At least a neutral attitude towards the Alliance. Good potential as a trainer, well yes, but actually no. Doesn't have any relative. After Alex finds out more about him, he may choose him as his direct subordinate. As a Team Rocket captain, Alex has the right to take up to 2 other Team Rocket trainers as his subordinates. Alex knows that having a talented subordinate who can be trusted can be very beneficial. And he thought that Daniel was a very good option. While waiting, he looked at his last preliminary round opponent. Contestant number 297. Pokemon, Shrimish LV17, Rosalia LV20, Vileplume LV30. Should I let Kirlia fight or play it safe? I'd rather not take unnecessary risks. After about 1 hour, Alex stood in front of the blonde referee again. The trainer of the Vileplume was a girl around 17 years old. Alex pulled out Crobat, and the girl pulled out her Vileplume without any surprise. Pokemon, Vileplume. LV, 30. Type, Grass/Poison. Abilities, Chlorophyll. Gender, female. Potential, Deep Silver. Moves, Absorb, Growth, Acid, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Razor Leaf, Mega Drain. Innate Talent, Solar Beam, E. TM, Protect, TM, Sludge Bomb, TM, Facade, TM, Substitute, TM, Toxic. When Alex saw this Vileplume, he couldn't help but be relieved that he didn't send Kirlia to fight. Although Alex thought that Kirlia would still win anyway, this fight would be unnecessarily long and tense. When the girl saw that Alex didn't pull out his weakest Pokemon, she couldn't help but look annoyed. She knew her only chance to win this fight is when Alex sends his Kirlia to the fight. Chapter 82. Both trainers ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Alex said coldly. Crobat, use Taunt and then Confuse Ray. The female trainer said at the same time, Vileplume, use Sleep Powder. Crobat was faster than Vileplume in using the move and was safe from the Vileplume using the Sleep Powder. After Crobat successfully used Taunt, he started using Confuse Ray. The female trainer saw the Vileplume could only attack and said, use Solar Beam. Solar Beam is a move that gets stronger during the day. Especially in the summer, this move is devastating. Now in an open arena, under the strong sunlight, this move was not only powerful but very quick too. Alex knew that but was still surprised by the speed Vileplume's Solar Beam charged up. Even though Crobat started using his move a little earlier, Vileplume blasted off the Solar Beam at nearly the same time Crobat used Confuse Ray. Both could not dodge the attacks as they were in the still position and were hit by the enemy's move. Crobat couldn't move because his Confuse Ray was not on expert rank, and Vileplume didn't have any time to move as it started using the move later than Crobat. So it blasted the Solar Beam as soon as it was charged up. Crobat, who was hit by Vileplume's strongest move, took a little damage. Alex wasn't surprised by the fact that Crobat took only a little damage from this attack. Crobat that has a 4-fold resistance to Grass-type attack can easily handle a Solar Beam. Especially when you consider that Crobat is 5 levels higher than Vileplume. The female trainer saw that Vileplume was confused but said, use Solar Beam again. Alex, who heard this, couldn't help but laugh. Crobat, dodge with Fly. Crobat flew high in the air and successfully dodged Vileplume's attack. After successfully evading the attack, he dived in the direction of Vileplume. The female trainer knew that this attack would cause great damage to Vileplume if hit, so she said, Vileplume, protect yourself. Crobat flew at breakneck speed towards Vileplume, who was using Protect. Vileplume's shield couldn't withstand Crobat's attack even for half a second before it broke. Although Protect was able to reduce the damage caused by Crobat, Vileplume still suffered a lot of damage. Vileplume only had around 70% HP after this attack by Crobat. The female trainer didn't know what to do when she saw that. She said after a bit of hesitation, try Sludge Bomb. Alex, who saw this, said with disappointment, finish it by using Fly again. Although Crobat was hit by a sludge bomb while flying upstairs, the damage inflicted on him was minimal. Crobat successfully knocked Vileplume unconscious with Fly and easily won the fight. Participant 297 Pokemon passed out. Participant 68 won this round. Alex saw how easily Crobat won and couldn't help but let a smile appear on his face. The blonde referee went towards Alex with a smile and said, Participant 68, congratulations on your victory. With this, you have finished all preliminary rounds and successfully enter the top 64. Please go to the info box after this match to get your new participant number. Thank you. I'll go there now. Good luck. Alex went to the info box of the arena and gave his participant number there. After Alex's identity had been checked, he got a new number. The woman at the info box said in a professional tone, this is your new number. The number is sorted according to the level of the participants. It is done to prevent the strongest participants from fighting each other early in the tournament. Alex looked at his number and had to suppress his surprised expression. He walked out of the arena, and then he whispered, 6. That meant that the average level of Alex's Pokemon was 6th highest. Alex, who saw the number, couldn't help but think about how his chances of winning the tournament were almost non-existent. In the history of this Kanto Rookie Tournament, no participant with a number higher than 3 has ever managed to win this tournament. Although the level of a Pokemon does not necessarily represent the strength of a Pokemon, Alex does not underestimate the advantages of having a higher level. In this world, differences in level are particularly noticeable, especially when you reach benchmark levels like level 40 and 60, also known as elite and champion rank Pokemon. That reminded him of the time when he had to defeat Maria's Ekans and her Rock Slide with his Zubat. Alex's Zubat could only withstand 2 strikes of Rock Slide and hardly cause any harm to the Ekans. Probably almost all trainers in the world would lose that fight in his situation. But Alex almost managed to win. Although he lost at the end, it was a very close fight where he had a 50/50 chance of winning and losing. Maybe with a bit of luck, he could have also won that match. But he isn't the type of guy who makes excuses. He doesn't want to rely on luck to win the battles. As he thought about this past, Alex screamed in his mind, 6. 6. FCK 6. I will win this tournament. Even if a person with a number higher than 3 has never won this tournament, I will be the first person to do so. I am sure that with the right tactics, I can defeat even an elite Pokemon. I only lost the last time because my tactics weren't perfect. It's not impossible for me to win this tournament, and I will prove it. When Alex walked out of the arena with a cold expression, Alex saw a beautiful blonde woman with a microphone and a camera team following her. The beautiful blonde woman looked at Alex's participant number in his hand and walked along with the camera team in his direction. Alex knew that this woman probably wanted to do an interview with interesting participants before the tournament starts. Although he had no interest in becoming famous, he couldn't help but think about an advantage that this interview could bring him. The beautiful woman looked at Alex and said with an enchanting, fake smile, "Hey, trainer. We are from Pokeworld TV and wanted to ask if you have some free time for an interview." Alex looked emotionlessly at the reporter's fake smile and said, "Okay." The beautiful woman couldn't help but show a surprised expression. She had met many young male trainers but never someone who was not even a little bit fascinated by her. She guessed that he must have learned to keep his urges in check. While Alex had an expressionless face when interacting with the blonde reporter, inside he couldn't help but feel attracted to her body, but he can practically always keep his emotions in control. Aside from Maria, Alex had never met a woman/person who could affect him emotionally, except his family members. That's why Maria is very special for him. Joe. I wanted to say something about the first fight from Alex and Maria. Many people have different points of argument why Alex lost inappropriately and his defeat is cheap and so on. I looked at all the most important arguments again and couldn't find a point where I agree. I will show the arguments and give my answers. Although it may be unnecessary, I want to do it anyway. Though it's a little late now. Dude, he should have 1 Rock Slide equals terrible accuracy. Plus the Dust Shield, really no way he would hit that much, so I think Zubat should have 1, but let's call it Pokemon RNG Sai looking forward to a TTAR, but okay, Ash Ketchum. 2 of at least 10 Rock Slide is not high. In addition, Rock Slide has a large attack range and it is good to hit enemies that you cannot see. I explained everything in the chapter. No idea why you bring such arguments. This is not a game. For example, Poison Sting has a higher accuracy than Rock Slide, so that it should, according to your logic, hit Zubat more often than Rock Slide in this dust stream. I hope I don't have to explain why this is questionable. Rock Slide has a relatively bad hit rate but also has a large attack surface, which I mentioned in the chapter. If you can't see your opponent, you should use a move that has a large attack surface and not a move that normally has a good hit rate. No idea why people like this come tar so much. I think it was pretty stupid. The first step of MC is a lost how SATA LVL16 Zubst already have a supersonic attack, and supersonic is more versatile than Confuse Ray. This battle have a high chance of winning if Zubat use a supersonic. Supersonic causes the target to become confused. Accuracy 55%. Confuse Ray causes the target to become confused. Accuracy 100%. Wow, just wow. Rock Slide can't hit anything, man. Besides, why not use supersonic? Super useful. Also, you shouldn't think of stats as numbers, so specifics. In your novel, Pokemon are real and control is necessary. What do you mean? That Zubat survived Rock Slide twice shows pretty well that I don't just look at stats. I use stats as the baseline, nothing more. And why do people think that Zubat, who is a slow Pokemon, can easily dodge all attacks from Rock Slide? Can you stop wanting to give the MC cheats? I want to keep it realistic if possible. I saw love at first sight, cringing face romance? Too early in the story. I want to say that in Pokemon verse like this story, love is a luxury for a weak bat. If you so insist in doing romance, then better have it after the MC reach pinnacle. Yeah, most Pokemon fans are into enormance thingies, so, haha, but still I endure that, no problem face and continue reading, and so I arrive at this Ash page. How do I say it? It's totally fine if protagonists lose battles sometime, and it's the kind of battles that when lose it's hurt so much, but it's for growth type. Not the type of battle that can win but for the sake of making the protagonist difficult, mainly to let reader know MC can also lose, just to fail to get the first position. Who want to read that? Ash, in novel. Who want to read MC who just won't win for the sake of it? Surely not me. It's important to let MC win at some major points in story, like when it is the first place for the beginning plot, etc. MC can sometimes fail after that. And where is this story going? Why is this story going to Ash and Clinch Styles? Feel disappointed. So yeah, this time I am out. Asterisk not looking back face asterisk. Honestly, I'm glad you're gone. That was so much wrong that I hope I don't have to say anything about it. Hopefully. Week of planning boiled down to spamming one attack? Why did he not use confusion to his advantage earlier? Or anything really? Just felt meh. Yes, don't use the one move that is more damaging, faster and easier to hit than other moves because it's pretty stupid to use your best move. Why use a best move you have when you can also use weaker moves? Even though he used more moves like Protect and Confuse Ray. It's like one guy been boxing for 1 month, and you're wondering why he only uses boxing against a stronger opponent. Confuse Ray doesn't work in this world like it does in games. If you had read the chapter you would know that. I find it rather questionable if in this world the Pokemon beat themselves if they are confused. Yeah, I wasted 20 minutes of my time saying all of this. 4 months later. No idea, but it feels good to write this now so that I do it now. I really thought a lot about this fight and can justify all decisions, but apparently these people are not interested in the logic, but rather whether the MC loses. That was the only place in the fanfic where I thought to stop writing. Fortunately, I continued and didn't regret this decision. No idea why I am writing this now, but it feels good to write this now so that I am doing it now. I want to say thank you to all the people who follow this fanfic so far, and thank you for your support. Speak to you soon. Chapter 83. The beautiful woman looked at Alex and said with a friendly smile, "Try to stay relaxed. If you don't like a question, you can always deny it. It's not live, so you don't have to worry about saying something wrong. It would also be good if you had one of your Pokemon standing next to you so that it is interesting for the audience." Alex gave his usual fake smile and agreed to the interviewer's words. He got Curlia out of her Pokeball and told her to stay next to him. The blonde woman showed Alex an OK sign as she counted down with her finger. "Hello, dear viewers. We are in front of the Celadon City Arena, and almost all preliminary round battles are finished. This trainer here is Alex, who showed a lot of potential in the preliminary rounds. He is one of the strongest rookies taking part in this tournament with a participant number of 6. Alex showed a fake smile when he said, "Hello there." Curlia also smiled as she waved her hands to the camera. Unlike Alex, her smile looked much more sincere. The blonde woman asked, "Alex, the tournament will start tomorrow. What rank do you think you will achieve in this tournament?" Alex thought a bit when he said, "I will probably surprise a lot of people with the rank I get. I have too many expectations from the great me. To be honest, getting only 6th rank would be a failure for me. I am here to win this tournament. Only the top rank is suited for me." The blonde woman was surprised that Alex said it so confidently. Normally, almost all trainers are humble and try to avoid telling what position they could possibly reach. She asked, "Alex, you seem to be pretty sure that you will reach a higher rank than 6th. Why are you so sure that you can surpass all the expectations?" Alex showed an arrogant expression when he said, "Because the level is not the perfect way to measure the strength of the Pokemon. The most important thing about a Pokemon is not levels but the willpower." The blonde woman looked at Alex in surprise when she heard such a reply from Alex. Willpower is important, but not as much as move mastery, body mastery, LV, and tactics. She thought that Alex was an arrogant kid who hadn't trained his Pokemon properly. She found a perfect target to make fun of. She said to Alex with a fake smile, "Alex, willpower is surely important. But what is move mastery, body mastery, LV, and tactics to you?" Although Alex was actually quite delighted that she asked this question, but he showed a different expression on his face. He said with an arrogant expression, "Humph. Useless against the power of willpower. Only levels are a training reason, everything else can be ignored. Especially tactics. Ha ha ha, who is so stupid to waste his time like a coward thinking about tactics? With the burning willpower, my Pokemon and I will destroy everyone in our path." The blonde woman suppressed her grin when she heard Alex answer. Then she saw Curlia's confused look. She took the chance to ask directly, "Alex, your Curlia seems a bit confused by your answer. Can you explain that?" Alex looked at Curlia with a false angry expression when he said, "She got that from Sizer. Although she still listens to me, she is not as obedient as Crobat." Curlia, who can feel Alex's emotions, knew that Alex was very content with hers, even though he was showing such an expression. She thought about it and understood what Alex wanted to do. After a few seconds, she looked at Alex and gave him a smile. Alex nodded and said, Good, you finally understand this truth." The blonde reporter asked, "Alex, could it be that Pokémon do not listen to your commands?" Alex showed a surprised expression when he said, "What? Impossible. You know that only Pokémon that listen to your trainer are allowed here." The blonde reporter smiled as she said, "Yes, but as long as the Pokémon listens to the trainer's command every so often, it is counted as the trainer's Pokémon." Alex showed an emotionless expression when he said, "Ms. Reporter, can you delete this part please?" The reports ignored Alex's question when she said, "Alex, thank you very much for this interview and good luck at the tournament." Alex watched emotionlessly as the woman said goodbye and quickly left him alone. When he saw her disappearing back, he couldn't help but smirk a little. He adjusted his red cap a little bit and went to his hotel. In the evening, Alex and his Pokémon were sitting together at a large table for dinner. Alex looked at his Pokémon as he said, "Okay, I want to tell you all something. We are going to win this tournament that will start tomorrow, and I have a plan where I need the help of all three of you." Almost all Pokémon looked at Alex with a curious look. Except for Curlia, as she had already figured out what Alex's plan was going to be. "First of all, you are forbidden to use expert move with the strength and speed of expert rank unless I let you know beforehand. In addition, I will hardly give you direct commands during the fight. So before the battle, I will tell you all the tactics for almost all the possible situations that may occur. You have to follow them in the fight without me saying anything. Don't worry, we will do this only against opponents I am 99% assured to win. In addition, if the situation gets a little tight, I will throw away these deceptions. I hope to be able to surprise the one of the top 3 participant with this deception. This will provide us an astonishing advantage. Even if it is only a small advantage, it is worth the preparation. Maybe with a little bit of luck, this camouflage will only be revealed later." After Alex roughly explained his plan, he said with confidence, "Let's surprise this world together." Chapter 84, Bonus Chapter. During breakfast, Alex turned on the TV to see if his interview would come out today. Yesterday, Alex explained the exact plan and the little details that his Pokémon had to pay attention to so that there is no mistake during the tournament. While this plan is relatively important, it doesn't guarantee Alex's victory, as there are many strong participants in this tournament. This plan is useful for only one time, as all it can do is confuse Alex's first strong opponent and make his path towards his victory easier. Some would think that this method is not worth the effort. But Alex, who wants to increase his absurdly small chance of victory, was ready to use every little trick to win this tournament. Alex is not trying to win the tournament because he wants the prizes, but because he wants to prove to himself that he is an excellent trainer and has the potential to become one of the strongest in the world. Alex and his Pokémon watched the pre-show of the Kanto Rookie Tournament on the TV. In this program, there were 2 different Pokémon experts and a moderator who were talking about the Kanto Rookie Tournament. Alex recognized one of the Pokémon experts. It was Erica, who is the gym leader for Celadon City. Erica recently turned 18 and has been the gym leader of Celadon City for only 3 months. Because the Kanto Rookie Tournament took place here in Celadon City, she was selected as one of the executives. Her arena had also been taken as the venue for this tournament. There was a Pokémon professor whom Alex didn't know. His name was Professor Walder, and he was an expert in the field of bug Pokémon. The male moderator asked questions regarding different aspects of the tournament to both of them from time to time. Alex suddenly heard the moderator talking about an interesting topic for which he was watching TV in the first place. As most spectators already know, the participant numbers are distributed to the trainers according to their Pokémon's average level, so that the strongest people don't meet early in the tournament. In particular, the top 8 can only meet in the quarterfinals. Gym leader Erica, as the winner of this tournament of 2 years ago and as the person who got participant number 1, can you tell us what does this number tell us about the strength of the participants? Erica gave a slight smile as she slowly said, "Oh, that's a tough question to answer. Although the participant with the highest average level is probably the strongest, it is not always true." The moderator asked, "Professor Walder, what do you think?" Professor Walder said with a smile, Interesting question. Although the level of a Pokémon is very important, there are also other factors that decide the strength of Pokémon. Especially, the move mastery, body mastery, and tactics can make a big difference if they are trained properly." The moderator nodded with a smile when he heard this answer. Moderator said with a smile. Yesterday, after the preliminary round, we interviewed a lot of interested participants, and one of these participants had an interesting answer to our question. Let's see what participant Alex has to say about it. With that said, the video of Alex's interview with the beautiful blonde woman started playing. Alex and his Pokemon watched this video and started laughing lightly at the comments that Alex made. Crobat couldn't control his laughter when he heard Alex say, "Ha ha ha, who is so stupid to waste his time like a coward thinking about tactics? With the burning willpower, my Pokemon and I will destroy everyone in our path." Alex looked at his laughing Pokemon with happy eyes. It didn't annoy him in the least that they laughed at his words. He was instead very joyful looking at his Pokemon's happy faces. The loneliness he felt when he first came to this world seemed like an old forgotten dream. After the clip was played, the moderator asked Erica and Professor Walder about their opinion. Erica softly smiled as she said, "The participant Alex is really an interesting trainer. While I can't agree with his opinion on Pokemon training, I can't say that willpower is not important to the strength of a Pokemon." Alex, who heard these friendly words from Erica, was a bit surprised. How can a person be so nice? Though Professor Walder reacted quite differently. You could see a tick mark on his face when he said, "What kind of trainer is that? What an idiot of a trainer. It's been a long time since I've heard such a stupid answer to a question. Most of all, his aversion to tactics is incomprehensible for me. I don't understand why this show is wasting time on such a clown." The moderator said with a smile, "Mr. Alex has participant number 6, so he is not an unimportant person." Professor Walder said sternly, "Humph. Only the top 3 numbers really have a chance to win the tournament, so his opinion is not really important. This clown, in particular, won't even be able to make it into the quarterfinals." The moderator asked with an intrigued expression, "Professor Walder, are you saying that he will lose against participants with a participant number 9 or higher? This is the only way he can't get to the quarterfinals." Professor Walder said with a convincing tone, "Yes. There is a very high chance that he will lose to a participant before he can even enter the quarterfinal, maybe even in the first round. Although he has a higher average level than these participants, he is simply too incompetent to really take advantage of this." Alex, who was watching the TV, couldn't help but smirk. Thank you for all Power Stones. Especially thanks to the top 15 Power Stones. 1. Unknown. 2. Ringiabarai. 3. Rock_the_Vidra. 4. Oboro 21. 5. South Haven. 6. Darks Japa. Scythe, Drake Pimp 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 Pimp. 8. Anonymous X. 9. For the Memes. 10. Kairos. 11. N0B0DY. 12. Kiirii. 13. Thorn Devil. 14. Jaclia. 15. Shadowmile Chapter 85. Alex went to the Kanto Rookie Tournament website to see if the tournament tree was ready. He looked at the tournament tree and saw that he was unsurprisingly in the Block F. Participant 1 was in Block A, Participant 2 was in Block E, Participant 3 was in Block D, etc. The top 8 participants were into different groups so that they can only meet in the quarterfinal. Alex looked at his first opponent. Contestant number 42. Pokemon, Ninetales LV27, Jumpluff LV29, Flareon LV26. Now that every round was a 2v/S2 fight, Alex had no worries about training Kirlia this time. When he saw how all of his Pokemon had finished eating, he said with a smile, "Let's go." Alex showed his ID card and his participant number before going into the waiting room of the participants. When Alex entered the room, he felt a lot of stares at himself. Some of the participants who had watched the pre-show recognized Alex and looked at him disdainfully. Alex, who saw these participants' looks, showed an indifferent expression as he sat down on a chair. After half an hour, all 64 participants were there. A staff member came into the room and said, "The opening ceremony is about to begin. Everyone, please follow me." Alex and the other participants followed the staff member who led them to the arena. When Alex and the other participants entered the arena, they saw spectator seats filled with people. The arena was packed, and no place was left out. Alex, who saw this sea of people, couldn't help but think of a soccer stadium. When he watched the thousands of people, he suddenly felt excitement in his heart. This feeling made his mind go blank for a while. The staff made Alex and the participants stand in a row in the middle of the arena. Suddenly Alex saw several Pokemon flying in the air and showing a path made of fire and other elements created from their moves. Alex saw the many flight Pokemon with different moves over the arena and couldn't help but be impressed with these fireworks. After only a few minutes, the fireworks were over when Erica appeared on the large podium in the arena with a microphone. Before Erica could say anything, many viewers started yelling, "Princess, I love you. Erica! 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 Nature-loving princess." Alex, who saw people infatuated with Erica, showed a surprised expression. Erica was even more popular compared to the other gym leaders. Erica showed a warm smile when she felt the audience's excitement. She waited until the audience calmed down a bit before she said, "Welcome to the Kanto Rookie Tournament, dear spectators. We will fight here for 3 days to find out who is the most talented rookie from Kanto. These 64 participants in front of you are the ones who made it so far after the preliminary rounds. Each of these participants is the elite of Kanto and will definitely become a great Pokemon trainer in the future. Please give them a big round of applause." When she said that, the audience roared with applause and cheering, and created an exciting mood for Alex and the other participants. Erica waited until the crowd quieted down, and then she said, "On the first day, the participants will fight 2v/S2 Pokemon battle against each other until only 8 participants are left. Each participant may change his Pokemon once per fight as long as he or she does not use more than 2 different Pokemon in the fight. And tomorrow, these top 8 participants will fight until we get our 2 finalists for the 3rd day. And on the 3rd and the final day of the tournament, we will know who is the most talented and the strongest rookie trainer of the Kanto." Well, after everything has been said, let's start the tournament. Alex and the other participants went back to the waiting room after the opening ceremony. When Alex was walking by, he unexpectedly noticed a familiar face. This girl had short, orange hair tied into a side ponytail with blue hair elastic. She had green eyes and fair skin. She wore a yellow tank top that showed her midriff, red suspenders, blue denim shorts that stop at her thighs, and red sneakers with yellow lining and white laces. Her whole midriff was showing a flat and beautiful stomach. "Misty," whispered Alex when he saw the girl. When Alex looked at her body, he was convinced that Misty was much older than only 10 years. He would estimate her age around 15 years. He only looked for a few seconds before averting his gaze. Alex felt that Misty was probably the strongest opponent in this tournament. Alex and the other participants went back to the large participant waiting room. There the big TV was switched on so that the participants could watch the ongoing fights. When he saw this, he went to the staff member to ask if he could observe the fights live. However, the staff member said that it was a rule that the participants were not allowed to leave the waiting room as long as they still have a fight left. Hearing this, Alex got annoyed. The system only works when he sees a Pokemon in person. Thus he cannot see the exact information of the strong participants. Though he heard that on the 2nd day, the participants get their separate place to observe the fights live. That means that on the 1st day, he cannot get the information of his quarterfinal opponents. Fortunately, his opponents are weaker than him in this round, so he didn't have to worry too much. When he was thinking about this stuff, he saw Misty and another participant leaving the waiting room with a staff member. He continued watching TV, and he didn't have to wait for long before Misty came on the TV. The commentator introduced the 2 participants to the spectators. Alex completely ignored the introduction of participant number 55 and waited for the introduction of Misty. "Now, I'm going to introduce the participant Misty, who has participant number 1. She is a well-known water-type Pokemon trainer from Cerulean City. She is one of the sisters of the Waterflowers of Cerulean City, and she is the hot favorite to win this tournament. Let's welcome Misty from Cerulean City." Chapter 86. Alex silently watched the whole fight with full attention but couldn't get enough useful information from it. Misty used only her Golduck to quickly defeat the 2 Pokemon from participant 55. Although Alex wasn't sure, he believed that Golduck might not be at elite level yet. After the fight was over, Alex waited for the other participants to fight. He mainly looked at the top 8 participants. The trainer with participant number 4 was called Roberta, and she won her battle easily with her victory bell. When Alex saw this blonde girl, he felt that he had seen her before in the Pokemon games. Though he couldn't pinpoint exactly where he had seen her. This victory bell from Roberta looked strong, but not so strong that Crobat or Sizer would lose against it. Although Alex knew that it was most likely not the strongest Pokemon of Roberta, it still helped him increase his self-confidence. As long as the strength difference is not that big, Alex thought he had a good chance to win this tournament. Alex started focusing again when it was participant number 2's turn. The trainer's name was Junichi, and he was wearing a karate tracksuit with a black belt. Alex couldn't think of anything other than the fighting dojo in Saffron City. Although he wasn't sure whether he would be the main boss of that fighting dojo, he was confident that this trainer had at least one high position in this fighting dojo. He didn't remember the name of the fighting dojo's head, so he wasn't exactly sure whether he would be the future head of the fighting dojo. Junichi quickly defeated his opponent with his hitman Lee, so Alex could not find much from this fight. As Alex was looking thoughtfully at the TV, a staff member walked in his direction. Participant 6, right? Your fight is about to start. Please follow me. Alex and a young girl walked out of the participant room as they followed this staff member. When Alex entered the arena, he heard applause and mockery from the audience. Haha, is that the willpower guy? Willpower guy, give up before you embarrass yourself. Idiot. Fking idiot. It seemed that some people in the audience had seen the pre-show, and they were making fun of Alex. Alex wasn't surprised by this and didn't show an expression on his face. In comparison, contestant number 42, the female trainer, was much more popular with the audience. She was treated by the audience like a hero who was supposed to defeat this idiot. The referee looked at both participants as he explained the rules again. Alex and the female trainer looked towards the referee, and they called their first Pokemon at the same time. Kirlia and a Jumpluff appear at the same time in the arena. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Pokemon. Jumpluff. LV. 29. Type. Grass/flying. Abilities. Chlorophyll. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Bronze. Moves. Splash, Synthesis, Tail Whip, Tackle, Fairy Wind, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Bullet Seed, Leech Seed, Mega Drain. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Energy Ball, TM, Aerial Ace, TM, Facade. Alex acted arrogantly. Kirlia, show this Jumpluff your strength. The female trainer commanded Stun Spore at that time. Kirlia, who had discussed the tactics with Alex before the round, didn't show a surprised expression after hearing Alex's retarded command. She used Teleport to get out of range of Stun Spore and then used Calm Mind. Jumpluff's Stun Spore move had not reached the expert rank, so he could not move while using it. So he had no choice but to cancel the move. The female trainer saw this and said, Jumpluff, go back within the range and use Stun Spore again. When Jumpluff started to prepare Stun Spore again, Kirlia was done using the Calm Mind. Immediately after that, Kirlia used Thunder Wave. Both Kirlia and Jumpluff used their moves simultaneously and hit each other Pokemon with their paralyzing moves. Alex, who saw this, suppressed his smile. He had told Kirlia beforehand that as long as she can paralyze this Jumpluff, she didn't need to worry about getting paralyzed herself. The reason is simple. Jumpluff needs its speed and agility to avoid attacks. Kirlia isn't fast enough to dodge attacks in the first place, so the paralyzed state makes a little difference to her. Especially when her primary evasive means is Teleport. Jumpluff, now use Leech Seed. Kirlia, who heard this, used Disable with a slower speed. Although Kirlia didn't use expert rank speed, she was still able to successfully disable Jumpluff's Leech Seed before he can use it. Although Kirlia was faster, she was only a bit faster. So the other participants would think that Kirlia's Disable is not at the expert rank. Alex wanted to show as little information as possible to the strong participant. Jumpluff, use Energy Ball. Kirlia started preparing Psychic before the trainer gave her order. Psychic met the Jumpluff that was just preparing Energy Ball. Although Jumpluff received good damage, it still had enough HP to withstand a few more attacks. Jumpluff SP Def was good enough to handle the attacks of Kirlia without losing his focus on his own moves. After tanking this attack, he used Energy Ball. Unfortunately, the Energy Ball was avoided by Kirlia via Teleport. Though Kirlia wasted a lot of energy using Teleport, it was worth it. After 3 more similar exchanges, Kirlia could no longer use Teleport and had no choice but to use Protect. Jumpluff, who had to endure 4 Psychic from Kirlia, also knew that it won't be able to take on any more attacks unless he uses Protect. Although Kirlia had not taken any harm and Jumpluff had only around 20% HP, Kirlia had no more evasive options left. Kirlia used Psychic 2 times more and successfully defeated the Jumpluff. The female trainer who saw how easily her strongest Pokemon was defeated had a dark expression on her face. She didn't mind losing to a stronger trainer, but she didn't want to lose to a retard trainer like Alex, who didn't even give a proper command to his Pokemon. Chapter 87. The female trainer called her second Pokemon. Go, Ninetales. Show him what you can do. Alex looked at the Ninetales' info and saw that it was an LV-27 Deep Bronze. He knew that Kirlia was very likely to lose without any evasive possibilities, so he changed his Pokemon. Come on, Crobat. Bring me to victory. When the referee gave the signal, Ninetales and Crobat started fighting each other. The fight was not tense and relatively short as Crobat easily won. Not only was he 8 levels higher, but he also had been trained much better than the Ninetales. Crobat took care that his expert rank moves didn't show too much strength and speed as Alex had told him before the fight. But even with this disadvantage, he won this fight with relative ease. Ninetales is unconscious. Participant 6 won this fight. When the referee said the result out loud, Alex's victory was not bathed with applause from the audience, but with a quiet atmosphere. Although individual viewers applauded for Alex's victory, it was not possible to suppress this strange atmosphere. The commentator said with a wry smile, "Wow. Participant Alex seems to be very unpopular." Professor Walder, who saw this, said with a stern expression, "Although he is strong, his attitude towards Pokemon training is fallacious. He also decides to be very arrogant, so it doesn't surprise me that he is so unpopular with the audience." Erica considerately said, "Although you are right, it is a bit mean not to give him the applause he deserves." Alex, who saw the reaction from the crowd, was happy instead of being sad. With this reaction from the audience, his camouflage can be a lot more believable. Of course, he didn't show a happy expression but an expression of suppressed anger when he left the arena. He went to Nurse Joy, who was responsible for healing the Pokemon of the participants. As he watched Nurse Joy put Kirlia's Pokeball into a machine, he thought about the Joy Clan. The Joy Clan is very influential in the Alliance and has a monopoly over the medical sector of the Alliance. This clan allows only female clan members to get high positions. Men from the Joy Clan are mostly responsible for raising children and have no real power in the clan. Of course, the female clan members have different looks from each other. Although they all look relatively similar, if you look closely, you can see differences. Alex took his seat and opened the Kanto Rookie website to see the information about his next opponent. Although you can look up this information elsewhere, this website is the most convenient option. Contestant number 22. Pokemon, Raticate LV28, Raticate LV31, Raticate LV32. Alex, who saw the participants' Pokemon, couldn't help but laugh. Wow, he is training the same Pokemon. I wonder if he has even more Raticate. Although it would be stupid in the games, it is not a bad option to specialize in a Pokemon type or even a Pokemon species in this world. Being such a type of trainer has great advantages as well. When he was thinking about it, he suddenly saw an interesting participant entering the arena. It was a Poison-type Pokemon trainer participant who had participant number 3. His name was Mason, and he was a 17-year-old trainer with an indifferent expression on his face. He wore a ninja-like suit with a big red scarf that he wore like a face mask. When Alex saw this trainer, he couldn't think of anyone other than gym leader Koga. Although this trainer is not Koga, he certainly has some relationship with Koga whom Alex prefers not to provoke unnecessarily. Koga and Sabrina are trainers who Alex doesn't want to provoke, even if he later becomes much stronger than them because these two trainers have dangerous skills. Koga is a quasi-assassin with superhuman skills and a trainer who is very familiar with poisons. Having such a person as an enemy is a nightmare for any trainer, no matter how strong they are. Sabrina is just a monster. Alex can think of many ways Sabrina can kill him, even if he becomes much stronger than her. The only plan Alex could come up with to effectively defeat Sabrina was to possess a ridiculously strong psychic-type Pokemon that can suppress Sabrina's psychic powers. When he thought of these two monsters, he couldn't help but think of the boss who has them as subordinates. Giovani's strength is difficult to assess because it differs depending on the platform. In addition, this world is a real world and not the world from the manga, anime, or game. So Alex can't get a lot of information. The second round started immediately after the end of the first round. After a few matches, it was Alex's turn again. He entered the arena with a mocking atmosphere all over again. Although it wasn't as bad as the first time, his popularity didn't seem to have increased. Alex and the male trainer simultaneously called their Pokemon on the field. Kirlia and Raticate came out of their Pokeball and faced each other. Not bad. It's a shame that Super Fong doesn't work as well as it did in games, and it has a lot of restrictions. Well, without these restrictions, this move would be very lethal, thought Alex when he saw the Pokemon. Pokemon. Raticate. LV. 32. Type. Normal. Abilities. Guts. Gender. Male. Potential. Shallow Silver. Move. Tackle. Tail Whip. Quick Attack. Focus Energy. Bite. Super Fong. Crunch. Hyper Fong. Innate Talent. Thunderbolt. E. TM. Facade. TM. Protect. TM. Dig. TM. Toxic. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. The fight between Raticate and Kirlia was relatively tense and close. Kirlia used Calm Mind at the beginning for the reinforcement and dodged Raticate's attacks with Teleport. Although Kirlia was using Teleport, Raticate managed to hit Kirlia a few times with Quick Attack. Alex, who saw this, wanted to tell Kirlia to use Disable on Quick Attack but managed to suppress that thought. He tried to talk to Kirlia via telepathy before the match to test whether it could be used in a fight. But after a bit of testing, Alex found out that Kirlia consumes too much energy to maintain the telepathic connection if there is no eye contact, that it doesn't make sense to use in matches. It is better if Kirlia can use Teleport a few times more often than to talk to Alex via telepathy. Even though Quick Attack isn't a strong move, Kirlia took a lot of damage after a couple of hits. Kirlia is really not a Pokemon that can easily take on attacks. But after using Calm Mind 4 times, her SPATK states became ridiculously high. She managed to defeat Raticate after 3 Psychic. Actually, 2 Psychics would have been enough, but thanks to Raticate's Protect, Raticate could hold out one more move. Although she was able to defeat this Raticate, she used up all of her teleports. In addition, she only had around 50% HP left. But because Kirlia is still strengthened by Calm Mind, Alex did not exchange her. He wanted to see what she would do in such a situation. Chapter 88, Bonus Chapter. The male trainer called his second Pokemon and waited for the signal from the referee. The fight was over pretty quickly with the victory of Raticate. After Raticate hit Kirlia twice, one of which was a critical hit, Kirlia quickly passed out and lost the fight. Even though she hit Raticate twice with Psychic, Raticate used Protect to block one attack. Thus Raticate didn't lose very much HP. Alex called out Crobat and quickly ended this fight. When the referee announced the victory of Alex, he heard the lukewarm applause from the spectators again. Alex ignored it when he went to Nurse Joy again to cure his Pokemon. As he understood, the first day of this tournament is to separate the strong trainers from the weak trainers. In this world, Alex is one of the few trainers who does nothing else but train his Pokemon. Although many trainers train their Pokemon daily, no one is a training monster like Alex, who uses all of his time for training. Alex, who enjoys training his Pokemon, can be described as weird. Even if Alex had no talent and items, he would certainly have become a strong trainer with enough time. Alex, who now had money, is like a reinforced monster that gets stronger every day faster than other trainers. Alex was sitting quietly in his seat as he looked at the information from today's last opponent. After this round, there will be only 8 strong trainers left in this tournament. Contestant number 13. Pokemon, Butterfree LV29, Beedrill LV30, Scyther LV35. Alex noticed that the level difference wasn't as big as before. If he were to underestimate his opponent, there is a possibility of him losing this fight. Of course, he believed that even Crobat alone can defeat this opponent. Crobat versus Butterfree or Beedrill should be a quick win for Crobat. Crobat vs Scyther was likely to be a close match because both Pokemon have the same level and similar base stats. Crobat is slightly better than Scyther in terms of states. Fortunately, Crobat's type advantage is so big that he should win easily in a normal case. He takes almost no damage from a Bug-type move and can do twice the damage with Flying-type moves to Scyther. In a fair match, Crobat should win easily. Fortunately, this opponent is not strong enough for Alex to give up his camouflage. But the fight would be tough enough for Alex to start with Crobat to see if there is any need to send Scyther if necessary. He wanted to prevent unnecessary risks if possible. While thinking, he saw the same staff member walking in his direction again. He followed the staff member from the waiting room to the arena. Participant 13 or Tim looked at Alex with a disdainful look. Alex, who saw Tim, couldn't help but be surprised. Tim's clothes were cheap and worn out. Usually, trainers with Tim's strength could easily afford better clothes. Only trainers who have little money and prefer to use it for their Pokemon wouldn't buy better clothes. Alex was the same before he got rich. It made more sense for him to buy his Pokemon a bit better food than to buy good clothes. Although Alex did not show it on his face, his appreciation for Tim grew a lot. Not many trainers understand how to use their money wisely. Alex and Tim brought out their Pokemon at the same time on the sign of the referee. Crobat and Scyther appeared on the battlefield simultaneously. Pokemon. Scyther. LV. 35. Type. Bug/Flying. Abilities. Swarm. Gender. Male. Potential. Silver. Moves. Leer, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Double Team, Feint, Fury Cutter, Wing Attack, Agility, Slash, Razor Wind. Innate Talent. Giga Impact, E. TM, Protect. TM, Facade. Giga Impact as an expert move is really lucky. This Scyther can be sold for a lot of money if he wants to, thought Alex when he saw this information. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Alex said with an arrogant tone. Use fly. Tim said at the same time. Scyther, use agility as long as it is wasting time up in the sky. Alex knew he would do that but wanted to make his camouflage more believable with this stupid move. While allowing Scyther to use agility is a bit dangerous, it isn't that bad. Alex knows from testing that agility doesn't double the speed of a Pokemon. It is similar to games when the speed state is increased by 2 points. But not exactly. In this world, the increase is much lower and depends on the move mastery. Crobat flew high in the air, and Scyther slowly increased his speed. Before Scyther was done with agility, Crobat dived quickly in Scyther's direction. Scyther, after you've finished using agility, use protect. Crobat crashed into Scyther's shield and failed to break through the shield. Alex showed an annoyed expression when he shouted, Coward! Even my Crobats has guts to fight Hedon, so why are you being a sissy? When the audience heard Alex, many of them started laughing. Alex didn't use the advantages of Crobat at all and preferred to fight in close combat against a Scyther. Although Crobat would likely win even in hand-to-hand combat, this command was quite risky. Only Alex knows that Crobat has a lot of close combat training, so he won't be at a major disadvantage in close combat. With the type advantage, Alex was certain that his chances of winning were relatively good. Even if Crobat lost somehow, Alex still had Scyther in the emergency. He had enough plans not to be afraid of this risk. Okay, Scyther. Fight him in close combat with Giga Impact. Giga Impact on the expert rank is a devastating move and can do a lot of damage. Crobat used Protect directly without Alex's order to block this attack. Although he blocked most of the attack, Scyther still managed to destroy Crobat's shield and inflict a little damage on him. Crobat, of course, took the chance to use Wing Attack. With luck, Crobat struck Scyther in the head and dealt a critical hit. This hit made Scyther's head covered with blood. Tim, who saw his bad luck, couldn't help but curse out loud, FCK. Scyther ignored his head injury and used Giga Impact again. Crobat also used Wing Attack. Both Pokemon quickly exchanged injuries in this fight. After only a few more trades, Scyther couldn't take the damage anymore and passed out. This blow on the head did too much damage to him to endure any further attack. Even though Crobat won this fight, his condition was really bad. Alex would estimate that he had around 20% HP, and he can't take much more damage. Tim looked at unconscious Scyther with a wild expression on the floor. Alex took the chance to say loftily, Give up. Even if you beat my Crobat, you have no chance against my Scyther. Although Tim didn't want to admit it, he had to accept that this idiot was right. His Scyther was his strongest Pokemon that had the chance of defeating his other 2 Pokemon. He didn't even believe that any of his other 2 Pokemon can defeat this injured Crobat. He should heal his Scyther quickly instead of wasting his time here. He went to the referee and quietly told him that he was giving up. Then he looked at Alex with contempt as he walked out of the arena. When the referee announced the end of the fight, Alex showed an arrogant smile. Alex gave an unsympathetic look to everyone as if he was looking down on them. The spectators did not applaud for Alex after his victory, so the atmosphere of the arena was weird. Alex, who saw this, couldn't help but think that he would become a good actor. Though Alex is not the kind of guy who would say, I want to be the very best at acting, like no one ever was. Chapter 89. After Alex won his last match of the first day, he didn't have to go back to the waiting room to watch the other matches. Although it makes no difference to other participants, it is essential for Alex to see the Pokemon of his opponent live. When he found a good place to sit, the next and the last fight of the day had already started. Misty against participant number 13. Alex checked out Misty Pokemon during the fight. Pokemon, Golduck. LV, 39. Type, Water. Abilities, Damp. Gender, Male. Potential, Gold. Move, Scratch, Tail Whip, Water Gun, Confusion, Fury Swipes, Disable, Psybeam, Screech, Surf. Innate Talent, Psychic E. Innate Talent, Iron Tail E. Innate Talent, Headbutt E. TM, Protect, TM, Light Screen, TM, Rain Dance, TM, Whirlpool, TM, Hyperbeam, TM, Blizzard, TM, Calm Mind, TM, Toxic. FCK, is this some kind of a sick joke? So many good and expensive TMs and 3 moves on the expert rank. In addition, it's almost on the elite rank. Alex thought about different tactics on how to defeat this monster of a Pokemon. While thinking, He saw how this Golduck easily beat the two Pokemon of participant number 13. After Misty's match, all 3 rounds of the first day came to an end, and Erica started her goodbye speech for all the spectators. Seeing that, Alex left instantly. Alex knew that he still had to face 3 more strong participants against whom he can lose if he is not careful. And Misty is bound to be one of those 3. He went to the official page to know the Pokemon of all the participants. Participant 1. Misty. Pokemon, Golduck LV39, Dugong LV34, Starmie LV42. Participant 2. Junichi. Pokemon, Primeape LV33, Hitmonlee LV40, Hitmonchan LV38. Participant 3. Mason. Pokemon, Arbok LV33, Weezing LV38, Golbat LV39. Participant 4. Roberta. Pokemon, Bellossom LV36, Vileplume LV33, Victreebel LV38. Participant 5. Jack. Pokemon, Rapidash LV31, Ninetales LV33, Magcargo LV38. Participant 6. Alex. Pokemon, Kirlia LV30, Crobat LV35, Scizor LV35. Participant 7. Harry. Pokemon, Sandslash LV29, Nidoking LV33, Pidgeot LV36. Participant 8. Sarah. Pokemon, Pelipper LV30, Shiftry LV32, Staraptor LV34. He also looked at the tournament tree. Misty V/S Harry. V/S? Roberta V/S Sarah. Final? V/S? Junichi V/S Jack. V/S? Mason V/S Alex. FCK, why am I never lucky? It would have been ideal if I were to fight Misty in the first round. That way, I could have made the most out of my camouflage plan. It looks like I can only meet Misty in the final, where she will already know what kind of trainer I am. That is if I can get to the final. Alex silently walked out of the arena in the direction of his hotel. Alex and his Pokemon sat together at a table and ate their food while Alex started on the TV. The commentator said, "Erica, which of the 8 participants do you think you will win this tournament?" Erica softly smiled when she said, "Although I think Misty will win, there is always a possibility that another participant surprises us and win." "Oh, which participants are you thinking of?" "The greatest chance of a surprise victory is probably Junichi, who owns an elite Pokemon." The commentator looked at Professor Walder. "Professor, what do you think?" Professor Walder showed a serious expression and said after the thinking of a second, "Yes, Misty and Junichi are by far the favorites of this tournament. Although we can't say that another participant can't win this tournament, I think it is very unlikely. Probably Mason has a small chance." The commentator suddenly said an amusing expression, "If we're talking about surprises, let's talk about participant Alex who made it to the quarterfinals." "Professor Walder, didn't you say that it would be difficult for participant Alex to get this far?" "Humph, although you're right that Alex made it to the quarterfinals relatively easily, you have to admit that he fought really poorly and only won because his Pokemon had much higher levels than his opponents. Especially his fight against Bug Trainer was unbearable to watch. His Crobat had so many advantages, and he decided not to use any of it. He fights as if he had just become a trainer yesterday. It's been a long time since I've seen such an incoherent trainer of this level." Professor Walder doesn't seem to like participant Alex. "Erica, what about you? What do you think of participant Alex?" Erica, who heard this question, showed a surprised expression. "Alex seems to be quite popular on this show since we are talking about him a lot. Hee, but I have to admit that his character is really unusual. It is rare to see such a talented trainer with such a personality. It only makes sense that so many viewers are interested in Alex, though not in a positive manner." The moderator started talking about other participants in the tournament. Alex listened carefully when they started talking about Mason, who was his opponent for the next round. Mason seems to be one of the direct disciplines of gym leader Koga and has gathered a lot of knowledge from Koga. Although it was not said what exactly Koga taught him, Alex was sure that this Mason was trained not only for Pokemon training by Koga. Alex thought for a few minutes if it would be possible to defeat Mason without giving up his cover. While it was not totally impossible, Alex thought, that he can't take this risk. The fact that he cannot fight Misty directly without his camouflage lowers his chances of winning the tournament. He looked at his TRH device and saw several messages from different people. Maria. "Hey, Alex. I happened to see the Kanto Rookie Tournament and saw your interview. It was really funny. P.S. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone about your plan. Steven. Alex, are you taking part in the Kanto Rookie Tournament? I saw your fight today, and I have to admit that I'm a little confused. Is this some kind of a plan of yours? Etc. Alex, who saw several messages, showed a smile and replied to them all. After the week that Maria and Alex trained together, they talked a lot and were able to assess the character of each other relatively well. So Alex was not surprised that Maria recognized that Alex had lied in the interview. Chapter 90. Mason, who was wearing his ninja uniform, stood against Alex with a scornful face. Alex, who was wearing his red cap and his usual training uniform, showed an arrogant look. Both trainers just looked at each other and ignored the referee, who slowly repeated all the rules. 3v/S3 rules. Alex, who came up with a plan for this fight, thought that this fight should be easy as long as everything goes according to plan. Mason, who saw Alex's interview and fight, had no worries about his victory. For him, this fight was just a waste of time. Both trainers simultaneously called their first Pokemon at the sign of the referee. Sizer and Arbok appeared on the battlefield. Mason, seeing a Sizer, couldn't help but be a little worried. Sizer has many buff moves, so you shouldn't put your weak Pokemon against it. Mason knows this and would ordinarily use his strongest Pokemon to pressure Sizer right away. But when he remembered that he was facing a completely incompetent trainer, he ignored these thoughts. Mason doubted that Alex would use this chance. And even if he did, Mason didn't think he would lose. Because the damage this Sizer would get won't be so small that Mason had no worries. He preferred to use the chance to train his Pokemon. Alex, who saw the opponent's Pokemon, couldn't help but be inwardly happy. The interview and the previous fights were worth it for this fight. He was especially happy when he saw that his Arbok was a LV33 bronze Pokemon that didn't have a single move on the expert rank. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Alex showed an arrogant expression and said, use Hyper Beam. Mason, who was also giving his order, quickly changed his order in the middle. Use Lee-No, use Protect quickly. Arbok quickly conjured a shield using Protect, but Sizer used Focus Energy instead of Hyper Beam. Mason was totally lost for a second and couldn't give any further order. Only after a second, he realized that he set up. He showed a muddled expression when he saw Alex's sneer. Sizer used the time when Mason was distracted to successfully use Focus Energy twice. Mason realized that he can't waste more time and said with a sour expression, Arbok, use Leer quickly. Arbok didn't have a strong move that could deal significant damage to Sizer. Thus, he had used Leer first. Alex, who saw that Mason did not charge, became happier internally. Arbok was way too weak to prevent Sizer from buffing up. Although he could do a lot of damage to Sizer in time, Alex already had a plan to safely recover HP. After successfully using Leer to lower Sizer's defense, Arbok used Iron Tail to attack Sizer. Sizer ignored the pain and used Focus Energy until it reached the maximum effect. Then without attacking, he used Agility. Arbok used Iron Tail again and hit Sizer in the head. It did a lot of damage to Sizer. Sizer endured the pain and kept on using Agility. Mason thought, is this idiot trying to buff Sizer to the max limit? If he does that, his Sizer won't have much HP to take advantage of that. With 20 or 30% HP, these reinforcements are not really useful. After Sizer had finally successfully buffed up to the max, his whole body was covered in blood. Alex knew that Sizer can only take a move or two. Alex saw that his plan had worked and said with a smug face, Sizer, use Roost and dodge all his attacks. Roost on the expert rank not only has a more efficient in healing, but also allows Sizer to move when using it. Do not underestimate this advantage. Alex had increased the speed of Sizer to an abusive level. Thus Sizer can rely on his speed alone to dodge most attacks. Although his speed was not as good as in the games, Sizer was now a good deal faster than Crobat. Only the moves that have a large attack area can hit Sizer now. Mason, who saw Sizer Roost was on the expert rank, showed a confused expression. Roost is one of the most expensive and rarely available TM, so Mason didn't expect that Sizer would be able to move while using it. When he saw his Arbok couldn't catch up to Sizer, who was healing, he had a terrible feeling. He fell completely into the trap of his opponent. Mason got angry and shouted, I'm switching. In this tournament, Trainer/S are allowed to change once per round. Alex smiled when he saw that. Too late. He thought. Pokémon, Golbat. LV, 39. Type. Poison/flying. Abilities. Inner focus. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep silver. Moves. Absorb, Supersonic, Astonish, Bite, Wing Attack, Confuse Ray, Swift, Haze, Leech Life, Mean Look. Innate Talent. Sludge Bomb, E. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Taunt, TM, Shadow Ball, TM, Fly. Golbet, use Taunt. Alex couldn't help but smile hearing him. Mistake. You gotta know the condition to use it successfully. As long as your level is not ridiculously higher than your opponent, you cannot prevent an expert rank move, unless your taunt itself is on the expert rank. Thought Alex. Golbet used Taunt but failed to prevent Sizer from using Roost. Mason looked a bit confused. Still, he said hurriedly, Golbet, use Mean Look. Alex, who saw this, knew that he couldn't escape this move. This arena is big but not big enough for the Sizer to escape from the range of this move. Sizer, use Metal Claw and end the fight. Sizer, who heard this, ran at a ridiculous speed in the direction of Golbet as his claws emitted a silver light. Mason knew the Golbet would be gravely injured if he was hit by this attack, but he didn't want to stop using Mean Look. Golbet managed to use Mean Look before Sizer hit him. Sizer hit Golbet's head with his buffed-up speed and sent Golbet flying several meters. Golbet's head was profusely bleeding when he got up. Mason saw that the Golbet could not take another hit and was worried. This Sizer shouldn't stay in that buffed-up state, or he won't have a chance of victory. Golbet, use Haze. Now that Sizer can't run out of range of Haze, Golbet can successfully use Haze to weaken Sizer's buffs. In this world, Haze that is not of the expert rank cannot completely remove all reinforcements. Alex saw that Sizer would lose most of his reinforcements after a few seconds and said, use Metal Claw. Golbet and Sizer both used their moves at the same time. Golbet successfully removed most of Sizer's reinforcements but was hit again in the head by Sizer. Golbet, who was hit twice in the same place with fast force, couldn't endure anymore and became unconscious. Mason, who saw his strongest Pokemon go unconscious, couldn't help but show an annoyed expression. He knew that he probably can't win this fight now. But Mason doesn't want to give up as long as he had even a small chance to turn this fight around. Chapter 91. The spectators who saw this interesting but unexpected fight recognized that Alex was a lot smarter and competent trainer than he showed and couldn't help cheer for him loudly. Alex's plan impressed the audience and the organizers very much. The moderator saw the match and couldn't hold back his excitement. Unbelievable. It looks like participant Alex was deceiving us all along. What a brilliant move. He has deceived all participants and spectators beforehand and made a surprise turnaround in this difficult match. Erica also spoke excitedly. What a great trainer. Even though his Pokemon are weaker, he managed to get himself into such a great position in this match. Professor Walder also couldn't hide his surprise and excitement. Yes, the tactics the participants showed in this round are perfect. In many top fights, trainers are not able to execute the tactics as well as participant Alex. The fact that he used even an interview as a tactic to fool others impressed me deeply. While the three continued to praise Alex, Alex thought about the possibilities of how he should fight now. Although Alex had a great advantage, he would not become arrogant about it. Instead, he will try to expand this advantage with all of his strength. The referee signaled Mason to summon his next Pokemon. Mason took out his next Pokeball without a word. Pokemon. Weezing. LV. 38. Type. Poison. Abilities. Levitate. Gender. Female. Potential. Deep Silver. Move. Poison Gas. Tackle. Smog. Clear Smog. Sludge. Self-Destruct. Innate Talent. Will-O-Wisp, E. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Flamethrower, TM, Thunderbolt, TM, Dark Pulse, TM, Facade. Alex, who saw the strength of this Pokemon, showed a serious expression. He thought, why did this idiot go with Golbet when he has such a Pokemon? Maybe, he thought that Golbet with Haze was enough to handle Sizer. Even though Haze can remove the buffs, he first has to hit Sizer with this move. Although Golbet has one level higher than Weezing, Weezing has more advantageous moves. Now that Sizer had lost almost all of his reinforcements, Alex didn't believe that Sizer could just dodge Weezing's attacks, so Alex knew that this fight would be tough. Especially when he saw that this Weezing can use Will-O-Wisp and Flamethrower. Will-O-Wisp in this world works similarly to the games. When used, it decreases the strength, physical strength, and HP of a Pokemon. But in this world, the effectiveness of it depends on how high the move mastery is. Also, type advantage is a big factor too. Since it is a fire-type move, Pokemon's type may increase or reduce the effect. For example, it is not very effective against water-type Pokemon. but if it is used against grass-type Pokemon, then it is super effective. That's why it is a hard counter for the Sizer, who is not only a bug and steel-type Pokemon but also is lower in level than Weezing. When the referee gave the signal to continue fighting, both trainers said at the same time, "Sizer, use Quick Attack to dodge and then use that speed to quickly hit him with Metal Claw." Weezing, let's start with the Will-O-Wisp. Alex, who knew that Mason was going to use that move first, gave the command in advance to evade it and harm Weezing. Weezing, whose Will-O-Wisp was on the expert rank, was faster than Sizer and conjured fire that flew in the direction of Sizer with a relatively fast speed. When the flames were only a few yards from Sizer, Sizer used Quick Attack to dodge the flames and ran towards Weezing. While running, his pincer-like hands shone in the silver light. Weezing, tank this attack and use Will-O-Wisp again. Alex, who heard Mason, couldn't help but agree with his command. A bit of harm for Sizer's successful weaknesses was a justifiable trade-off for Mason. Next, use Protect. Before Sizer met Weezing, Alex said what Sizer's next task would be. Sizer successfully hit Weezing, who was preparing Will-O-Wisp. When Weezing used Will-O-Wisp, Sizer blocked it with Protect by a whisker. Mason was getting more and more annoyed with seeing how Alex had the whole fight under his control. Usually, it is notably challenging to know the best move for a Pokemon to use within a second. You need lots of experience in order to predict which move the opponent will use and how to counter it. And it takes time to accumulate this experience. But Alex had lots of experience in his previous life by playing Pokemon games. So to others, Alex seemed like a monster who can easily predict the whole fight. Anyway, he can use Protect only once, thought Mason as he gave his next command. The fact that none of his decision was successful wasn't helping in decreasing his irritation and anger. Sizer, use U-turn. Weezing, use Flamethrower. Alex said it a little earlier. U-turn is a move that is very helpful in this tournament. Usually, it is not allowed to switch a Pokemon while it is under attack by a move. The trainer is allowed to change his Pokemon only when the opponent is preparing a move. U-turn, which automatically calls back his Pokemon to the Pokeball when used, is an exception to this rule. Sizer managed to use his move faster and avoided Weezing's attack by the skin of his teeth. Mason wordlessly watched as Sizer went back into the Pokeball safely. Alex won this round of this fight entirely because his Weezing only took damage without inflicting even a scratch on Sizer. Chapter 92. Bonus Chapter. The spectators who saw this exciting and interesting fight applauded Alex, who outplayed his opponent who was stronger so easily. The weak defeats the strong is a favorite of the masses in this world too. The moderator said with a smile, Alex seems to have the fight completely in his pocket. I think this is the first time I've seen such a young trainer with such combat control. Professor Walder, who liked Alex more and more, said, yes, the control and stability that Alex shows in this fight is on the highest level. Even many elite trainers can learn something from Alex in this aspect. I think the word genius is a good description of Alex's talent. Maybe even better. Erica, who felt the excitement, said with a smile, you both really like this fight. But I have to admit that this has been my favorite fight so far. The tension and tactics in this fight are really great. Erica weighed a bit and said, he's also one of the few trainers who own completely different Pokemon and trains at such a level. Usually, it's easier to focus on one type to get the best out of your Pokemon, but for Alex, this doesn't seem to be a problem. Professor Walder heard Erica's statement and showed a thoughtful expression on his face when he said, yes, Miss Erica Alex has trained many different Pokemon to this level, which is usually relatively difficult for beginners. While having different types of Pokemon can bring many benefits, it has just as many disadvantages. Personally, I think specialists have more advantages, especially later. Erica said with a thoughtful expression, yes, Professor Walder, it is probably better for most trainers to concentrate on one type than to try to learn several types. Different Pokemon type needs different training. Although this training is not very important at the beginning, it is later a requirement to train his Pokemon optimally. Later, often trainers who can train a type of Pokemon stand out because they have specialized in a type. Probably only monsters would manage to train their Pokemon optimally. The moderator broke their discussion with a smile. Regardless of whether Alex's type of training is optimal, you cannot admire anything other than his successes. Above all, his tactics stand out from me than his talent. Erica says with a soft smile. Yes, Alex's tactics in this fight were perfectly planned and executed. I have never seen such an interesting type of tactic where the interview is used as a tactical opportunity. I personally have to admit that I am not very talented with tactics, am like a participant Alex. The moderator said slightly, Miss Erica, please don't underestimate yourself so much. The tactics that you showed in this tournament 2 years ago were at the highest level. Erica just showed a gentle smile at this statement. She knew herself that she was worse than Alex when it came to tactics. Erica knows her strengths and knows that tactics are not necessarily her strengths. Alex, who knew Kirlia was his best option, called Kirlia on the battlefield. Kirlia, who was only at level 31, leveled up, didn't have much chance of defeating Weezing, but she could certainly do some harm to Weezing. When the referee gave the victory, both coaches said at the same time, Kirlia use teleport and then disable if he uses Dark Pulse, if not use Psychic. Weezing use Dark Pool. Shit, use Thunderbolt. Kirlia the more quickly got her order use teleport to get out of the range of Weezing attacks. Then use its Psychic to harm Weezing. Although Weezing SPE Def is bad and Kirlia is using a very effective move, the level difference is too big to cause serious damage to Weezing. If Kirlia had the same level as Weezing, this attack would do a lot more damage. Weezing, who saw Kirlia out of his attack range, had no choice but to break off his attack and float in the direction of Kirlia. Mason, who made more and more mistakes, became nervous. He felt as if Alex could read his mind, which baffled him very much. His whole head was empty of the feeling. Weezing, who has not received a command from his trainer, uses Thunderbolt as soon as he is back in range. Kirlia Plan 3. Kirlia nodded and started using teleport again. Plan 3, as Alex calls it, is pretty simple. Use teleport to dodge Weezing's attacks and then use Psychic to inflict damage on the enemy. Alex didn't think he would get a chance to use this plan because there are many counters for this plan and any experienced trainer can prevent this plan. But Mason, who apparently had little experience with fights at the highest level, did not know how to prevent this plan. Mason saw how his Pokemon always took more damage and tried to think about different plans than he thought nervously. He has never felt so confused in a fight. Even in his training match against Koga, he didn't have this feeling. After several rounds of intensive attacks, Alex noticed that his Kirlia can no longer teleport and can no longer avoid the attack by Weezing. Weezing, who refueled all attacks from Kirlia at this point in time, was bleeding heavily and only had around 20% HP. Weezing used Flamethrower. Kirlia, who uses Psychic herself to do more damage to Weezing, could not avoid the attack by Weezing and suffered severe disgrace. With this one attack, she lost more than 60% HP. The difference between levels in this world is not easy to suppress. Kirlia and Weezing use the same move again. Kirlia use Protect. Weezing use Protect. Both Pokemon managed to block attacks from the enemy. Kirlia and Weezing use the same move again and hit the enemy again. Both Pokemon passed out at the same time. Mason saw how Alex only lost his weakest Pokemon, and he lose his two strongest Pokemon, that this fight could not be won anymore. If he got another chance for this fight, he thinks this fight wouldn't end like that, but now was too late to think about it. He lost to a weaker trainer. He walked slowly to the referee to tell him that he was giving up. Mason, who lost a lot of self-confidence in this fight, just wanted to go home. The referee announces the winner of the match aloud. Alex, who won this fight impressed, was loudly applauded by the spectators. His popularity increased to a ridiculous level from this one fight. Saffron City, in a skyscraper. A middle-aged man with mafia-like clothes and a neutral expression looked at the big television screen in his office. He had a Persian next to him that he stroked. The man looked interested in the screen when he took his phone from his table. Gives me the information from Alex Stark. What? A member, really? Who is responsible for him? Great. Give me his file. Chapter 93. Saffron City. In an underground base, a young girl and a young man were fighting each other with an Ariados and a Nidoking, respectively. The young man had short black hair and a fit body. Together with his eagle-like eyes, he looked dangerous and handsome. The young girl had purple hair and a ninja uniform similar to that of Koga. Even though she was young, you could feel a dangerous aura from her. Especially the indifferent eyes she had were abnormal for her age. Come on, Nidoking, finish this fight with Earthquake. Nidoking, who heard the young man's orders, began to use Earthquake. After just a few seconds, the entire floor was vibrating. Ariados used String Shot to dodge the attack. The silk she shot to the roof allowed Ariados to stay in the air and be safe from the earthquake. Perfect. Nidoking, use flamethrowers while it's in the air. Ariados, who was in the middle of the air, had no way of effectively evading this attack. Ariados tried to dodge the attack but didn't quite make it and was hit. It already was seriously injured due to the fight, so it passed out immediately after being hit by this attack. The girl looked sadly in the direction of her Pokemon when she called it back. During this fight, 3 different Team Rocket executives were talking on a balcony over the battlefield. This year, the rookies are particularly strong. Yes, in other years, the third ranked could have been the winner. Maria, right? She is good but nothing compared to these two. The two have Pokemon on the elite rank at such age. The talent of these two trainers is ridiculous. It's a shame that all three participants have already been taken away by other executives. Aren't I right, Lisa? Lisa quietly listened to the talk of two Team Rocket executives and said with a smile, "No reason to be jealous. I was just lucky that Maria was in the rookie group that I was entrusted with. Besides, Maria is good, but compared to the other two, she is a good deal worse." Well, although you are right, these two participants have a strong background, so that it is expected from them. While the Team Rocket executive was speaking, the Team Rocket captain, who was selected as the referee for this match, announced the outcome of the match. Participant Marco defeats participant Janine and wins this tournament. The referee threw out a pokeball and summoned his Slowbro. Then he said out loud, "The first, second, and third ranked contestant will be personally rewarded by the boss. These participants, please come here." Marco, Janine, and Maria went to the referee when he said that. Marco, who already knows who the secret boss of Team Rocket is, didn't show an excited expression when he heard this. Well, he is Giovanni's nephew, so he obviously knows who the said boss is. Janine, the daughter of Koga, also knew who the boss of Team Rocket is. Although most Team Rocket members don't know who is the boss of Team Rocket, it is an open secret among the senior members. Even the top members of the Alliance know that Giovani is the boss of Team Rocket. The reason they passively ignore Giovani is not known, but it is believed that the Alliance would suffer too much damage if they tried to remove Giovani. Compared to Giovani, three other Team Rocket members are much less known. Only Giovani and a few Team Rocket members are aware that Koga, Sabrina, and Lieutenant Surge are also part of Team Rocket. The Alliance is not fully aware of Giovanni's actual strength. Marco, Janine, and Maria teleported into a large luxury room with a short man inside. Together with this short man, a bored fortress was lying around. The young man looked at the three when he got up and said, "Hello. I'm Car and the person who will lead you to the boss." Marco saw Car and immediately showed a respectful pose and said, "Hello, sir. My name is Marco, and I'm happy to finally see you in person." "Haha, I've heard a lot from you too, Marco. Your father was really a strong person." In comparison to Marco's friendly greetings, Maria and Janine gave respectful greetings but didn't talk much. All followed the who left the room. Marco kept on continuing their conversation. Maria and Janine wordlessly follow Car as he led them to a large hallway. After not even 1 minute, the four were in front of a large double door that was beautifully decorated. "We are there. I have completed my task, so I will be going away." Then he left without waiting for the three of them to answer. Marco looked at the door for a few seconds before he started opening that door. When the door opened, the three saw a large and luxurious office with a man and a Persian inside. Giovanni looked briefly at the three when he said with a strong and indifferent tone, you are here. Come in and don't stand there." The Persian gave the three of them a cold look as they walked in. Maria had the feeling of being watched by an absurdly strong monster as they entered. She thought that if this monster ever wants to kill her, even with the help of her Pokemon, she won't survive even a second. When she saw the man in the chair, she couldn't help but show a surprised expression. Maria did not expect that the strongest gym leader of Kanto would be the boss of Team Rocket. Giovanni looked at the three of them with an appraising gaze and said, "I congratulate you all for the performance you have shown in this tournament. Not only will 3 of you be promoted, but each of you will receive special rewards." After saying that, he directed their eyes towards 3 Pokemon eggs that were inside incubators. All 3 eggs were of different colors and sizes. Giovanni saw the curious gazes of theirs when he said, "One of these eggs is of Larvitar that was previously promised for the winner. But because the quality of the rookies has risen sharply this year, I have chosen 2 other rewards. The other 2 Pokemon eggs are probably not as rare as a Larvitar egg, but should not be underestimated. You'll know why later." Maria took the Pokemon egg incubator of hers and looked at the egg with a curious look. Chapter 94. Alex sat in a seat on the edge of the arena battlefield and watched the fight with an examining look. The fight that Alex was watching was the fight of participant number 1 Misty v/S participant number 4 Roberta. Grass-type trainer v/S water-type trainer. Although competitor Roberta had a type advantage, Alex didn't think she could win. As long as she didn't show any particular strategy, she was likely to be easily defeated by Misty's high-level Pokemon. Alex just hoped that she was strong enough Misty to use all 3 of her Pokemon so he could observe them. The fight finished faster than Alex predicted. Participants Roberta's Pokemon were not only several levels under Misty's Pokemon but also poorly trained. None of their Pokemon showed a move on the expert rank. And no Pokemon showed physical superiority, such as participant number 2 Junichi's Pokemon, who have an above-average physical performance. Misty only used her 2 weakest Pokemon to defeat all 3 of Roberta's Pokemon. Alex showed a funny expression when he saw how Misty had to defeat such easy opponents to get into the final. Well, the match is decided in such a way that it is easy for the top players. While Alex's benefit ended after entering the top 8, Misty will have that benefit until the final. The stronger you are, the more benefits you get. 1 hour later, Alex and Junichi were standing on the battlefield with a referee. The winner of this round will officially fight against Misty in the final tomorrow. The referee repeated the rules for both participants again, even though he noticed that none of them was listening. After the referee completed the protocol of speaking the rules, he showed a signal indicating that both participants had to summon their first Pokemon. A Sizer and a Hitmonlee were called onto the battlefield simultaneously. Junichi had, of course, watched Alex's last fight and didn't want to make the mistake that Mason made. Pokemon. Hitmonlee. LV. 40. Type. Fighting. Abilities. Limber. Gender. Male. Potential. Shallow Gold. Moves. Rolling Kick, Meditate, Double Kick, Feint, Brick Break, Facade, Jump Kick, Focus Energy, Mega Kick. Innate Talent. Headbutt, E. Innate Talent. Poison Jab, E. Innate Talent. Helping Hand. TM, Protect. TM, Rock Slide. Alex, who saw his opponent choosing his strongest Pokemon first, as expected, showed a slight smile. His assessment of Junichi was that he probably won't try to put too much thought into choosing the first Pokemon. So Alex could easily predict which Pokemon Junichi would choose first. Although this is not a great advantage, one cannot underestimate this advantage. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Alex gave a smile when he said, Sizer, Hyper Beam. Junichi said at the same time, Hitmonlee, use Medita. Meditate. You can save your tricks. I won't fall for it. Alex smiled when he heard this. Junichi didn't understand the smile at first. But when he saw Sizer not using Focus Energy but Toxic, his face went dark. Hitmonlee, who was using Meditate, couldn't avoid Sizer's move and was poisoned. Although his Pokemon was poisoned, Junichi didn't panic because he knows that the Toxic from a non-poison type Pokemon would be less effective. Especially if the targeted Pokemon has a higher level. Although Hitmonlee was slowly starting to take damage, Junichi didn't see it as a significant disadvantage. Hitmonlee, use Meditate once more. Junichi wanted to repeat Alex's tactics in the last round and strengthen his Pokemon a lot before defeating all 3 of Alex's Pokemon. Although his Pokemon are stronger, Junichi didn't want to take the chance. Sizer, use Sandstorm. When the moderator heard the move that Alex said to use, he made a startled expression on his face. Participant Alex appears to be very rich to be able to buy the TM Sandstorm. Although most trainers rate the TM Sandstorm as not very strong, one should not underestimate the damage that a Pokemon suffers if it stays in the sandstorm for a long time. Alex used almost all of his money yesterday to buy TMs for Sizer. Even though he spent a lot of money on this one move, Alex had no reason to hesitate. Save money or make his Pokemon stronger. It's a no-brainer for Alex. Sizer, who heard this, created a small area where a strong sandstorm was raging. This sandstorm stretched across the whole battlefield and made it very difficult to get in the middle of the arena. Although the visibility was reduced, it wasn't so bad that the Pokemon and trainers can't see each other. As Junichi was about to give his next command, Alex said with a pressing voice, Sizer, use Plan 5. Junichi, who heard this, looked briefly at Sizer to find out what Sizer wanted to do. Although he wanted to attack, he didn't risk attack Alex just like that. Sizer, who heard this, was using Razor Wind on the solid ground of the arena. The surface was damaged by the move and formed a small dust cloud that was kept in the air by the sandstorm. Alex let Sizer practice the move Sandstorm for a whole day to keep dust in the sandstorm in the air. Although Alex doesn't know how exactly Sizer does it, he was happy that his request was easier for Sizer to implement than he had initially thought. This very small change in this move allows Alex to implement his plan flawlessly. Junichi, who saw Sizer showing more and more gaudiness in the arena, made a grave face. For other trainers, Alex's strategy would be completely useless because they only have to use a flying-type move to destroy this sandstorm. The second possibility is to have a Pokemon that can perceive the opponent's Pokemon even without his eyes. Only Junichi, who was the fighting-type trainer, had neither of these two options. There is also another way. Like Maria, you can attack the arena with a high-attack surface move. This option are available to most trainers. Hitmonlee, use Rock Slide. Alex knew that Junichi would use this move. Junichi had no choice but to hope that luck was on his side and that Rock Slide will hit Sizer. He thought that Alex had executed his plan completed, which was not the case. Chapter 95. When Alex said, Plan 5, it meant this. 1. Use Razor Wind to create more dust, which will enhance the sandstorm. 2. After most of the arena is invisible, use Substitute to permanently prevent accidental hits. 3. While you are protected from Substitute, use Focus Energy and Agility to strengthen yourself. Also, use Roost to heal the damage from Substitute. Sandstorm wasn't the only TM Alex bought. 4. Make sure to keep on using the move Sandstorm. Alex suddenly showed a nonchalant expression when he said to Junichi, Don't hold it against me. I only have one chance of victory. If I am lucky, that is. Junichi showed an annoyed expression when he heard Alex admit his circumstances. You are a fool if you think that luck can save you from me. Hitmonlee only needs to hit your Pokemon once or a maximum twice before it makes Sizer unconscious. And as soon as your Pokemon is unconscious, your Sandstorm will disappear. I don't have to explain what happens then, do I? Alex showed a neutral expression when he said, better than a 0% chance of winning. Although in your case, I would rather be looking at your Pokeball to check if your Pokemon has passed out or not. Pokeball vibrates slightly when the Pokemon is unconscious from the Pokeball. It also has a button that allows the trainer to call his Pokemon directly back to the Pokeball when his Pokemon is not far away. Junichi looked at Alex one last time and began to ignore him. He thought Alex was using this general knowledge to make him nervous. Alex, who saw this, showed a smile when he said, I just noticed that you haven't changed your Pokemon even though it's poisoned. Does that happen to have a reason? Could it be that you only have one Pokemon that has a move that has a large attack area? Or is it because your buffed up Pokemon will only need one lucky hit to defeat my Pokemon? I wonder. Junichi's eyes twitched when he heard the words of Alex. Although he didn't want to admit it, Alex was right. He has fought a lot of smart trainers, but none was as difficult to beat as Alex. He knew that if his Pokemon had the same level as Alex's Pokemon, he would have been easily defeated by Alex by now. This thought hurt his self-confidence badly. Within 5 minutes, Junichi became more nervous and more confused because the sandstorm did not stop. He had already seen 50 times how stones were accidentally rained over the battlefield, and the sandstorm was still active. Junichi couldn't deny anything when the Pokeball from Hitmonlee vibrated slightly. He could only blame his luck. He pushed a button from the Pokeball, and a red beam from the sandstorm flew in the direction of Hitmonlee's Pokeball. Junichi thought for a few seconds when he called his next Pokemon. Pokemon. Hitmonchan. LV. 38. Type. Fighting. Abilities. Iron Fist. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Silver. Moves. Comet Punch. Leer. Agility. Feint. Swift. Dizzy Punch. Fire Punch. Ice Punch. Thunder Punch. Focus Energy. Innate Talent. Facade E. TM. Protect. TM. Toxic. TM. Bulk Up E. TM. Seismic Toss. When Alex saw his next Pokemon, he knew why Junichi didn't want to change his Hitmonlee. This Hitmonchan has only one move that can inflict damage to Sizer in this sandstorm. That is, of course, Swift that always hits the target as long as the target is not out of the range. The problem was that Swift is a special move, and Hitmonchan has a terrible SPATK value of 35. Also, the fact that Sizer has resistance towards Swift as a Steel-type Pokemon doesn't help. Although in Alex's case, Swift will do more damage to Sizer than Hitmonchan will take from the sandstorm. Although Sizer can use Roost, it is not a move that Sizer can use indefinitely. Alex estimated Sizer probably won't be able to use Roost during the rest of the fight much anymore. When the referee gave the signal, Alex said aloud, Sizer, use Wing Attack to blow the dust away. Junichi was giving the order at the same time. Hitmonchan used Swift. Wait, what? Sizer used his flying energy and transported most of the dust out of the battlefield, which quickly became visible. Although Sizer was hit by the Swift move, he appeared to have taken little damage. Junichi became happy when he saw Alex was suddenly ready to fight Hedon. His Pokemon have been trained in close combat, so they can easily defeat other Pokemon at the same level in a fair match. Sizer, use Metal Claw. Hitmonchan, use Fire Punch. Sizer flew in the direction of Hitmonchan at a ridiculous speed as his claws shone with silver light. Hitmonchan then noticed that Sizer was buffed to the maximum and was very dangerous. Though Hitmonchan was taken by surprise, He showed an unusual fighting instinct and used Fire Punch to hit Sizer simultaneously. Both Pokemon flew a few meters after being hit by the other's move. Particularly Hitmonchan flew more than 10 meters away. Sizer, hit by Fire Punch, took extreme damage from this one move only. Not only the spot that was hit was coal black, but it was also extensively bleeding. That one hit took more than half of Sizer's HP. Hitmonchan, hit in the head by Sizer's move, didn't look any better and was gravely damaged. Sizer again. Alex, who had used only one Pokemon till now, was ready to exchange Sizer with one of the enemy Pokemon. As in chess, if you have an advantage and both parties have two pieces of the same value, it is worth taking out the opponent's chess piece by sacrificing your own to increase your advantage. Junichi, who saw this, knew that Hitmonchan could not dodge this attack with his speed. Use Protect and then Fire Punch. Alex, who heard that, said quickly, "You too." Hitmonchan used Protect to block most of Sizer's attacks, and Sizer, after his attack, used Protect to block Hitmonchan's attack. Sizer again. Damn. You too, Hitmonchan. Both Pokemon exchanged attacks again. After the two moves were used, the viewers could see an unforeseen outcome. Both Pokemon passed out at the same time. Junichi saw how he only had his weakest Pokemon left. But he didn't want to give up yet. Although the chance is small, he wanted to try his luck. Chapter 96, Bonus Chapter. Alex brought Crobat back to the Pokeball, who just defeated Junichi's last Pokemon. You could see a small smile plastered on Alex's face. The feeling of victory over a much stronger opponent is really indescribable. The spectators were screaming excitedly for Alex's win. Alex had never felt so strong and confident. The audience saw that for the first time in the history of this tournament, the contestant with participant number 6 has reached the final and applauded and cheered a lot for Alex's achievements. His achievements made him by far the most popular participant. Although most of the audience didn't think Alex had a chance to really win the tournament, they couldn't help but clap for him. What he has achieved wasn't something anyone could do. As a matter of fact, he was the first one to achieve it. Alex, who was about to leave the arena, saw a blonde woman approaching him along with a camera team. She was none other than the one who interviewed him the last time. Or you could say the first time, since Alex has only given one interview. The blonde woman gave a seductive smile when she asked, "Participant Alex, do you have time for a short interview?" Alex, who saw the fake smile from the woman, thought, "Wow, this woman has thick skin. First, ridicule me. And when she saw my strength and success, she is being seductive now. Well, I'm not exactly a noble person myself. Can an interview help me get a little advantage? I think that the chances of Misty believing the words from my interview are close to 0%. So the old trick probably won't work anymore. But that doesn't mean the interview will be completely useless to create an advantage for me." Alex agreed and went to a quiet place with the blonde woman and the camera team. The blonde woman asked if Alex was ready before asking her first question. "Alex, after you surprised all participants and spectators and reached the final, do you think that you will be the winner of this tournament?" Alex gave a small smile as he said, "Honestly, no. I made all of these plans to get into the finals. To be honest, I still can't believe that my plans have worked so well so far." "How sure are you that you can win the final?" Alex made a helpless expression. "Win? Sigh, unfortunately, the only tactic that comes to mind that would allow me to win against Misty is very risky. Although this plan is risky for me, I couldn't think of a better plan against Misty." "Can I ask why you can't use the tactics from the other rounds?" The reason is relatively simple. It is not possible. Water Pokemon have many moves with a large attack range. Thus my Sandstorm plan would not work. The Sizer tactic is completely useless since the opponent already knows it. To get a chance to have the victory, I have to use my risky tactics. Basically, my luck will decide my success." Although Alex said this with a serious face, he thought something else. Although the Sandstorm tactic is really not that good against Water-type Pokemon, it doesn't mean that it is useless against this type. The real reason is that Misty has a Pokemon that can use Rain Dance that makes this plan almost impossible to succeed. "Alex, can you tell me what the plan is exactly?" "I promise I won't tell anyone." Alex showed a sarcastic face when he said, "Really? How great. I met a rare journalist in the world who can keep a secret. What a miracle." The blonde woman showed an annoyed expression when she said, "Come on, no reason to be so sarcastic." Alex didn't say anything about this statement, and the atmosphere soon turned uncomfortable. After a few more minutes of general questions, the blonde woman and the camera team said goodbye to Alex. As they left, the blonde woman gave Alex a slip of paper with a phone number. Alex, who saw this note, briefly showed a confused expression when he looked at the woman who was slowly walking away. Alex had the feeling that she swung her hips a little more unnecessarily as she walked away. Although he knew that this approach probably had nothing to do with his face, he still felt a bit more handsome. He took the paper and threw it into the nearest garbage can before he and Curlia went towards his hotel. While walking, many people recognized Alex in town. They showed an expression of interest and admiration as he walked around town. Many children also asked for an autograph from Alex when they saw him. Alex and his Pokemon were sitting in the hotel. Alex's Pokemon have trained for today, so they all have free time to pursue their hobby. Curlia was calmly reading a book on a small chair. Her speed of reading was also very impressive as she quickly finished a small book and started reading another one. She also likes to play chess against Ditto. Crobat has no real hobby, though he flies to the top of these hotels at night and keep watch. Although he denied that he does it to take care of Alex and his Pokemon at night and said that he likes the air at night, Alex knows that it isn't the whole reason Crobat does this. Sizer is one of the few Pokemon from Alex who continued to train independently even after the long training hours. Although he also likes to watch the TV aside from training when a Pokemon fight is going on. Ditto likes playing with Sheldon. This type of fighting games is good for the development of Sheldon, who is still just a kid. Ditto also likes to play chess against Curlia, although it has not won yet. You gotta praise its fighting spirit. Sheldon likes to play with Ditto. He also likes to watch TV when he sees something interesting in it. He also goes to Alex's direction and plays with him when he sees that Alex is free. Chapter 97. Alex was sitting on a chair with a piece of paper on the table that had various ideas to defeat Misty written on it. Although he had thought about a good plan after several hours, Alex couldn't think of a really 100% win plan. FCK, why can't I think of anything? Do I really have to use that idea? But it is highly unreliable and has a lot to do with luck. Curlia, who was reading a book, felt Alex's emotions were getting worse and worse. She closed her book and walked towards Alex. When she was behind Alex, who was lost in thought, and hugged him, Alex suddenly felt a touch around his body and turned to see who it was. After he saw Curlia hugging him cutely, his mood got better without him even noticing it. He looked at Curlia with a confused look when he said, "Curlia, what's going on? Are you lonely? Or sick? Shall we go to a poke center? Or?" Curlia just smiled at the many questions that Alex was asking her. Alex woke up early in the morning at his bedside, feeling nervous. That feeling of not having a solid plan for how the fight and not knowing how it will go wasn't a great feeling for him. Alex likes to have a certain amount of control over the fight and not give the opponent any chance of victory. Unfortunately, Misty's Pokemon were too strong and had no fatal weaknesses like his last opponent had. What annoyed Alex the most was that he couldn't get the info of her strongest Pokemon, Starmie. The problem lies in Starmie being an elite Pokemon. Misty has got into the finals with her two weakest Pokemon while Alex had shown all of his Pokemon. Alex's Pokemon ate breakfast silently that day, which just shows that they were also quite nervous. During breakfast, the TV was on showing a pre-show for the tournament. As usual, Erica and Professor Walder were invited to this pre-show as guests. Welcome to the pre-show of the Kanto Rookie Tournament. Today is the last and the most important day of the tournament, where we will find out the winner of this thrilling tournament. Though before that fight, we will have the fight for the third place. Naturally, I am not alone today. Gym leader Erica and Professor Walder are with me, to share with us their valuable insight. Erica showed a gentle smile as she greeted the audience. Professor Walder also tried to smile in a friendly way but couldn't, thanks to his relatively grumpy face. Let's talk about the fight for the third place first. The participants are... Alex heard them first talking about this unimportant match. He just ignored it and continued eating his meal. Alex didn't care who wins the third place. He knows that third place gets a Pokemon egg from a royal Pokemon. That is why this fight is so important to the contestants. The first three will all get a royal Pokemon egg, as far as Alex knows. The first place will also get a rare item for his Pokemon egg, which can increase the potential of this Pokemon. Alex has not yet considered which royal Pokemon to choose because his total focus was on winning this tournament. Although he hates to bet on his bad luck, he had no choice because Misty's Pokemon have no apparent weakness and were much stronger than his Pokemon. Maybe if he had 6 months or even 3 months more to train, this would not be the case. When he thought of the first few months he was wasted in this world, he got annoyed again. Okay, let's talk about the finale and the 2 participants who made it this far. He presented the participants for the final to the audience before he asked with a smile, "Erica, which of these outstanding participants do you think will win this final?" Erica, who was already expecting this question, showed a conflicted face. I've thought about this question a lot myself, and I have to say that I have absolutely no idea. Although Misty is much stronger, participant Alex is not an opponent that you can easily defeat just because you are stronger than him. So this fight can go in any direction. Professor Walder nodded with an approving smile. Yes, I can't agree with you more. This finale can go in any direction despite the great level of difference. Although most viewers are thinking right now that Alex is too weak to win, I think that that's not the case. Although the level difference is big, it's not so big that Alex's tactics are useless against this strength. Erica said seriously, I think this tournament will be one of the most enthralling and exhilarating tournaments in a long time. The moderator said with a smile, as the audience have just heard, we can look forward to an exciting finale. Alex, who heard this, had ticked mark on his face when he thought, I hate this excitement. Damn it. Why can't I get an easy opponent and win the reward? While Alex was thinking about it, Sizer and Crobat were bickering again. Hey Bat. I thought about the tournament a bit and realized that you have been pretty useless in this tournament so far. So I ask you to pull yourself together in the final, so we don't lose. I don't want to lose the finale just because of your poor performance. Whatever you do, don't drag us down. Crobat couldn't hold his anger anymore. Shut up, you second-class can opener. Alex has clearly saved me for the final as a trump card, so don't lower the IQ around you with your dumb words. What did you call me, you arrogant bat? You heard me. As always, Curlia sighed and went to her two brothers to end their argument quickly. Curlia, who is much younger than Sizer and Crobat, just couldn't understand why they argue if they didn't actually hate each other. Alex, who looked at the time, looked up and said to his Pokemon, Let's go. Chapter 98. Alex and Misty were standing on the opposite side of the battlefield. You could find the referee on the side of the battlefield explaining the rules for this round again. Shortly before this round, Roberta and Junichi fought for third place. Not surprisingly, Junichi won this fight relatively easily with the help of his elite Pokemon. The referee gave the signal, and Sizer and Starmie were called to the field simultaneously. Alex wasn't surprised by Misty's choice. He had expected that Misty's first Pokemon would either be Golduck, who can use Rain Dance, or Starmie, her strongest Pokemon. Pokemon. Starmie. LV. 42. Type. Water/Psychic. Abilities. Natural Cure. Gender. Genderless. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Harden, Tackle, Psywave, Watergun, Swift, Minimize, Confuse Ray, Bubble Beam, Light Screen, Psychic, Recover. Innate Talent. Hyper Beam, E. Innate Talent. Blizzard, E. Innate Talent. Psyshock, E. TM, Toxic, TM, Surf, TM, Thunder, TM, Thunderwave, TM, Substitute, TM, Protect, TM, Facade. That's really not really favorable. Surf, Swift, and Blizzard make my Sandstorm plan completely useless. Natural Cure makes even poisoning relatively ineffective. And the strong attack moves on the expert rank makes it almost invincible against me. The only good thing is that those expert rank moves are not that effective against Sizer. I can only hope that my bet works. Misty gave a smile in contrast to Alex's serious expression when she saw Sizer. Although Sizer has the type advantage, the strength Starmie has is more than enough to make up for that advantage. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Alex immediately showed an arrogant expression when he said aloud to Misty. Misty has no bust. Completely flat. Flat, flat, like a lake. Misty is a pirate's dream. A sunken chest. Those aren't even boobs. They are mosquito bites. Misty, who was just giving her order, heard this and got completely pissed off. Starmie use HAAH. What are you talking about, you bastard? Haha. Sorry. I shouldn't have said such things about Stunfisk mean your chest. Misty flipped out, hearing Alex shouting about a topic for which she is very insecure. She wanted to go to this bastard and punch him in the face. Shut up, you bastard. The referee, who saw Misty was going to walk in the direction of Alex at any moment, said aloud, Please. Both participants calm down and continue with this fight. After saying that, he looked at the grinning Alex and said, Participant Alex, please don't offend your opponent. If you do that again, I'll disqualify you. Alex smiled and slowly said, Mr. Referee, my words don't have an offensive word in them, so I didn't break the rules. During this exchange, Misty suddenly noticed that Alex's Pokemon had been using focus energy the whole time. Then she looked at her confused Starmie, who was still waiting for the order. She realized that she fell into his trick. The referee saw it too but didn't say it when he realized it. In his opinion, Alex has not broken the rules. And after the first warning, Alex said nothing. So he was safe. Misty saw that referee said nothing and suppressed her anger. Starmie, use surf. When Alex saw Misty start attacking, his face grew serious. Although this was a cheap trick, he had no choice but to hope that Misty and her Pokemon would be distracted and Sizer would have enough time to use the buffs. Without the reinforcements, Sizer won't be able to deal enough damage to defeat Starmie quick enough without taking too much damage. Because Alex knows that Starmie can also hit the speedy Pokemon, he had Sizer only use Focus Energy. But even with the luck that this risky plan worked, Sizer was still weaker than Starmie. At that moment, Alex was glad that all of Starmie's expert moves are ineffective against Sizer. Due to that, Sizer still had a chance to win this unfair fight. Okay, Sizer. It's time. Tank the damage and then use Fury Cutter. Although Sizer can use Protect, Alex wanted to wait for a better time. Starmie suddenly conjured a relatively large wave of water that was moving in the direction of Sizer. Fortunately, the trainers are protected by a strong Psychic-type Pokemon, so they are not threatened by such moves. Sizer, who saw this gigantic wave of water coming towards him, showed no fear as he ran against it. The water wave suddenly crashed completely onto Sizer as he approached the wave. Despite the mighty blow, Sizer was thrown back only a few meters. Then he continued running in the direction of Starmie without showing any weakness. Inexplicably, all of the built-up water disappeared instantly. Alex, who saw that Sizer suffered a lot of damage after this one attack, made a serious expression. In his estimation, Sizer only had around 75% HP left after that one hit. The strength of an elite Pokemon is really not easy to overcome. Starmie, use Thunder Wave. Sizer managed to get close enough to Starmie to start attacking Fury Cutter. Sizer, use Protect. Sizer quickly used Protect to block Misty's move. After blocking this move, he could comfortably start hit Starmie and hopefully deal a critical hit. After a successful blow, he didn't stop and kept on using this move continuously. Now that Sizer is so close, Starmie will probably use Blizzard. Sizer is in close combat with Starmie, so Misty can't waste much time. Since Psychic has lower attack power, and after using Hyper Beam, Starmie has to wait until she is recharged. And they don't have a large attack area, so there is always a possibility of Sizer dodging it. And the reason she won't use other moves is that they are not quite ineffective against Sizer, they have a lower attack power, and they will take more time to use. As predicted, though Starmie was taking more and more damage, it started using the move Blizzard under the order of Misty. Sizer had no chance to dodge this large-scale attack and was hit completely. The dents on the side of his body looked terrible after this attack. Although this attack is not effective against Steel-type Pokemon, the damage it caused was not small. Even though he was just seriously hit, Sizer didn't stop attacking Starmie. Alex, who felt the willpower of Sizer, showed a proud expression as if he wanted to tell the whole world that, this is my Pokemon. Sizer attacks got stronger and stronger, and so did damage caused to the Starmie. Fury Cutter is a fearsome move. After a successive hit, it gets 2 times more powerful. Though there is a limit to how strong it can be. Not to mention, Sizer's ability, Technician, boosts this attack even more. So together with all the buffs, he was able to deal consistent high damage to Starmie. This kept going on for a while. Misty was hoping for Starmie to gain the upper hand in this fight by herself. But seeing how the situation was not getting better, she decided to intervene. When Misty wanted to give her the next order, Sizer luckily met the weakest arms of Starmie and made Starmie bleed heavily. This critical hit came at a perfect time. Misty said gravely, Starmie, use Protect to disrupt his move. When Alex saw Starmie successfully blocked Sizer's attack, his face became annoyed. Sizer, use Fury Cutter again. Starmie, use Blizzard again. Both trainers tried to damage the opponent as much as possible in order to defeat his opponent faster than the other. Both chose the aggressive route, and their Pokemon kept on spamming the same most damage moves. After a further exchange of blows, both Pokemon looked very hurt, so that both trainers knew that both Pokemon could not take any more hits. Sizer, use Giga Impact, quick. Starmie, use Hyper Beam, fast. Both Pokemon used their moves as quickly as possible. 3 seconds later, Alex and Misty both looked at their badly injured and unconscious Pokemons on the ground. Chapter 99. Alex saw Sizer passed out on the floor together with Starmie and didn't know how to feel. Although this situation seemed beneficial for Alex, It was really not the case when you consider that only Sizer had type advantage and could be reinforced 4 times. Although his chance of winning was relatively good before, that couldn't be said now. Misty, who saw her starter Pokemon lying on the floor unconscious, felt a wave of inexplicable anger at herself. If she wasn't fooled by Alex at the beginning, Starmie wouldn't have lost. Yes, it is a draw. And technically, Starmie didn't lose, she just didn't win. But when seeing how its opponent was a Sizer, who she could have easily defeated if not for her foolishness, she considers it as Starmie and her loss. The referee looked at the 2 unconscious Pokemon and spoke. Participants Misty and Alex's Pokemon have passed out and are unable to battle anymore. It's a draw. Please bring out the next Pokemon when I give the signal. Alex had a guess which Pokemon Misty will bring out and started thinking of a good plan. The start of this round went according to plan until the moment Sizer could not gain the advantage, which made Alex's plan difficult. Of course, he had more than one plan to beat Misty. But other plans weren't as good as the one he was using until now. Now he has to come up with another plan or modify an old plan to win this match. At the referee's signal, Alex and Misty called out their next Pokemon at the same time. Go, Crobat. Golduck, I choose you. Pokemon, Golduck. LV, 39. Type, Water. Abilities, Damp. Gender, Male. Potential, Gold. Move, Scratch, Tail Whip, Water Gun, Confusion, Fury Swipes, Disable, Psybeam, Screech, Surf. Innate Talent, Psychic E. Innate Talent, Iron Tail, E. Innate Talent, Headbutt E. TM, Protect, TM, Light Screen, TM, Rain Dance, TM, Whirlpool, TM, Hyper Beam, TM, Blizzard, TM, Calm Mind, TM, Toxic. Alex, who knew that Golduck could use the move Calm Mind, didn't want to risk choosing Kirlia as his next Pokemon. Although Kirlia can also use this move, she is too weak to win against a buffed-up Golduck. Although Crobat had to fight a Pokemon that was a psychic expert, Alex had no better options. That was also one of the reasons why he didn't want to lose Sizer so early. Are both participants ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Misty immediately said, Golduck, start with Rain Dance. Crobat immediately used Taunt without Alex having to say anything. The reason Crobat did this was quite simple. Alex had told him before the fight that if he were to fight Golduck, he should immediately use Taunt after the referee gives the signal. With this tactic, Alex can ensure that the Crobat would be a bit faster in exchange for not being flexible. High risk, high gain. Misty, who looked at how Crobat used a move without Alex saying anything, was a bit confused. It is seldom the case that Pokemon uses a move without the commands from their trainer. Her face went dark when she noticed that Crobat succeeded in using Taunt before Golduck could use Rain Dance. She realized that Alex had anticipated what she was doing without knowing all of Golduck's moves. And the fact that he was successful was mind-boggling to her. She became nervous, and there was only one word for Alex in her mind. Monster. After this, Crobat started preparing a move again without further instructions. Before the round, Alex had told him that if the tactic works, then he should use Toxic immediately. Misty, who saw this, realized that she couldn't lose any more time. Golduck, use Psychic. Golduck was still confused why his Rain Dance didn't work and why he was suddenly feeling anger towards this Crobat. Then he heard the orders from his trainer and immediately began to prepare the move. Crobat, who started earlier, was able to use his move first. He created a poisonous liquid that he threw in the direction of Golduck. Golduck tried to avoid it but was still hit. And through Devil's luck, he was even hit in the head, which made the poison's effect stronger. Can move because of the expert rank. This world is not a game where every poison does the same amount of damage, so this good hit was very important for Alex. By hitting Golduck's weak point, Crobat's poison will be highly effective and cause more damage. Crobat, tank the attack and use Confuse Ray. Psychic is unfortunately not an attack that you can evade with speed, so Alex did not waste his time trying to avoid it. Time is a very crucial factor in this fight, and Alex can't waste any of it. Golduck finished using Psychic on Crobat and inflicted great damage. Crobat suffered severe injuries by this move. His whole body looked as if he had been hit by a hammer. One part of his body was also bleeding heavily. Golduck, use Psychic again. Crobat managed to use Confuse Ray despite the damage he suffered. Golduck, whose speed is not of very high value, could not avoid Crobat's move and was hit. After being hit by Crobat move, he saw the world twice. Crobat, use Plan 15. Plan 15, as Alex calls it, is a simple plan where Crowbar first uses Fly. then hopes that the confused Golduck will attack the wrong Crobat flying up in the sky. Then Crobat will take a fall from the high altitude and cause Golduck high damage. After Golduck has tanked the attack and wants to attack Crobat again, Crobat will use Protect and immediately use Fly to get out of range of his next attack. Though the prerequisite for using this plan is that opponent should be in a confused state. Crobat immediately used Fly when he heard Alex's words. As he soared high in the air, Golduck, who was still in range, used Psychic to harm Crobat. And because he saw two Crobat, Golduck didn't know which of these Pokemon was the right Crobat, so he could only hope for luck. Unfortunately for Alex, Golduck successfully struck Crobat. Crobat, who was hit again, looked terrible. His whole body was bleeding, and Alex estimated that Crobat only had around 20% HP, which was not good news. Alex showed an annoyed expression at his tough luck. Crobat used Fly and flew towards Golduck at a very high speed. Golduck used Protect and then Blizzard. Golduck, who created a shield, successfully blocked the attack by Crobat. After blocking this attack, he quickly started using Blizzard. Crobat was at the side of Alex when he blocked Golduck's attack with his own Protect. Then Fly was used again without the command. Misty, seeing Crobat using Protect without a command, looked surprised when Crobat dodged his defeat. When Misty wanted to use Psychic again, she realized the Crobat was too far away to use Psychic successfully. She tried to come up with a strategy quickly, but came up empty. Golduck, who was poisoned at the beginning of this fight, showed a violet color on his skin, which indicated that Golduck's condition was grave. Misty, seeing how quickly Crobat's poison was inflicting damage on Golduck, looked annoyed. If Golduck wasn't hit in the head, poison's effect wouldn't be this fast. Crobat fell at a faster pace towards Golduck that this attack could not be avoided. Golduck, hit by this strong fly attack, was sent flying several meters behind. Together with the poison, his condition looked as bad as Crobat's. Fortunately, the effects of Confuse Ray wore off, and he was able to see the world normally again. Crobat, finish it with Shadow Ball. Golduck, use Psychic fast. Both trainers knew that their Pokemon can only take one hit, so they quickly gave their orders. Crobat and Golduck used their moves simultaneously. And because of that, neither of them managed to avoid the attack. Both Pokemon fell to the ground after being hit by the move of the opponent. Chapter 100, Bonus Chapter. Alex, who wanted to take out Crobat's Pokeball from his Pokebelt, suddenly noticed that Crobat was not yet unconscious. Crobat's whole body was red due to all the blood. And together with the frostbites that Crobat had, he looked terrible. Normally, such a Pokemon shouldn't be able to stand. But Crobat, who desperately wanted to win this fight, showed his tremendous willpower. Alex, who saw this, wondered if he should let Crobat fight with these injuries. As he was thinking about calling Crobat back, Crobat gave a look that was clearly stating, "Don't you dare to call me back." Alex, who felt the determination of Crobat, showed an indescribable smile. The expression he made looked as if Alex wanted to tell the whole world that this is his Pokemon/his family. Misty saw that the Crobat was still standing despite the damage he suffered, showed an irritated expression. Golduck is unable to battle. It's Crobat's win. Participant Misty, please call your next Pokemon when I give the signal. The referee looked at Misty to show her to call her next and last Pokemon. Pokemon, Dugong. LV. 34. Type. Water/Ice. Abilities. Hydration. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow Gold. Move. Headbutt, Growl, Encore, Aqua Jet, Ice Shard, Rest, Aurora Beam, Waterfall. Innate Talent. Ice Beam, E. Innate Talent. Helping Hand. Innate Talent. Drill Run. TM, Protect. TM, Toxic. TM, Facade. TM, Surf. Dugong is one of the water Pokemon that can fight relatively immobile on land. In this world, not all water-type Pokemon can fight on the ground, as well as they can on the water. Many water Pokemon have many different skills that allow them to fight just as well on land as they do in the water. For example, Golduck, Starmie, and Gyarados can fight very well in the land. Golduck, who has 2 legs, can obviously fight well on the land with a bit of training. Starmie, who can use his psychic power to move its body, can also fight relatively well on the ground. Gyarados is one of the few Pokemon that can fight well in the land, sea, or the air. EN. Did anyone got this reference, Winky Face? 3, 2, 1, go. The referee gave the signal when he saw that both trainers were ready. Crobat, use Toxic. Dugong, finish him with Ice Beam. Ice Beam that was on the expert rank obviously charged up faster than Crobat's move. Shortly before Crobat was hit with this attack, he used toxic to poison the opponent. Dugong tried to avoid the poisonous liquid but was unfortunately hit. Crobat was already very injured, and he used a move that was not on the expert rank. Due to that, he couldn't move and avoid Dugong's move. Crobat, hit by this move, immediately collapsed to the ground. His whole body was covered with blood and injuries. Alex looked uneasily at the condition of Crobat before pulling out his hyper potion. Alex didn't want to wait to heal Crobat, so he immediately used the hyper potion on him. When Alex saw that he had taken care of the worst injuries, and the bleeding had stopped, he called Crobat back to the Pokeball. "You did good, my friend. Now take a rest." Alex knows how important it was for his victory that Dugong is already poisoned when he has to fight Kirlia. Without this poisoning, the outcome of this fight would be difficult to predict. The referee said to Alex, "Participant Alex has 20 seconds to call his next Pokemon, or he will be disqualified." Alex, who knows the rules, wasn't surprised that the referee realized that he was delaying the time to do a little more damage to Dugong. Misty blew a fuse seeing Alex wasting time. "Hey, don't you have any shame? Fight like a man." Although this was a cheap trick, Alex didn't care at all. For Alex, the victory is more important than the honor, which can apparently be determined by other people. As long as his family supports him, Alex doesn't care about other people's opinions at all. Only when 5 seconds were left, Alex called Kirlia on the battlefield. "Kirlia, come out. Let's win this tournament." The referee didn't want to waste any more time and quickly gave the signal to start. Dugong, continue using Ice Beam. Kirlia, use Teleport to get out of range of Ice Beam and then use Calm Mind while avoiding Ice Beam. Teleport is one of the few moves that can be used immediately with enough practice, which makes it ideal for dodging. Kirlia, who was at the edge of the battlefield, was now far enough from Ice Beam to dodge the attack without using a move. Misty, who knows that Dugong can only move slowly on the land, wasn't so stupid as to order Dugong to chase Kirlia. Although she would like to use Encore, the requirements are unfortunately not met to use this move now. Range. Dugong use Surf. Alex, who saw Misty use her only move with a large attack area, showed a smile. Kirlia, use Disable. Disable works a little differently in this world than in games. For example, it can also be used when the Pokemon is preparing a move and does not have to wait until the move has been used. But this move also has many disadvantages in this world. It is hard to use it successfully in this world because it has many requirements that need to be met in order to use it. When you have this move on to the expert rank, the requirements get a bit easier. Alex knows from testing these moves that the move works against Pokemon of a higher level only when the move is not on the expert rank. In addition, the level difference and distance are also a factor deciding the result. The level difference must not be too big. And the same goes for the distance. Kirlia managed to use her expert-ranked Disable faster than Dugong and completely prevented her from using Surf. It looked like Misty was utterly defenseless against Alex. She has never been this frustrated in her life. Misty took part in this tournament to show her sister and the whole world what a talented trainer she is. But in this fight, she realized how much worse she is as a trainer than Alex. She felt defenseless, and she hated that feeling. Dugong, use Ice Beam and try to guess Kirlia's movements when you aim. Alex, who heard this command, couldn't help but praise Misty's talent. She has many good qualities as a trainer that makes her stand out from other trainers. Unfortunately not good enough, thought Alex when he gave Kirlia her next order. Use Teleport only when this Dugong tries to use Ice Beam. Misty, who heard the command from Alex, knew that she had no chance now. She couldn't think of anything that she can do now to win this match. Her Dugong was now like a tank that can only move slowly and had a hard time hitting its target out of range. Normally, that wouldn't be a problem because Misty can just wait until Kirlia simply can't use the teleport anymore. But because her Dugong was poisoned by Crobat, the fight is no longer on her side. She thought that if Crobat hadn't poisoned her Pokemon, she would have won this fight. Crobat was able to use only one move before he collapsed, but it decided the outcome of this fight. As she thought about these things, she saw her Pokemon being able to hit Kirlia with all its power. But due to the range and use of teleport, she missed Kirlia by a whisker. Why do you have to fight like that? Can't you fight fair? Don't you feel any shame from winning a match like this? Alex, who heard this, looked at Misty with a disappointed look. Is that what you really think? I hope that this is just a tactic to provoke me. After hearing this, Misty knew it was over. After several minutes, Dugong passed out. The audience who saw the weak trainer defeat the strong trainer applauded loudly for Alex's victory. The arena was filled with cheers for Alex. Alex made history with this victory and showed that even the weak trainers have a chance to win this tournament. Alex cried out loud as he ran with a broad smile in the direction of Curlia. He lifted Curlia like a father would his child and hugged her. Then he lifted her up in the air so that the whole world can see Curlia. Curlia, who could feel the emotions of her father, showed a shy smile the whole time. What a journey. That it ends, one arc, exactly at chapter 100 makes me really happy. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I would like to thank everyone who has read this far. Your support is a big reason why I keep writing. Thanks a lot. BTW, my editor has edited chapters 11 to 15 so that it is now better written. You can read it if you feel like it. Chapter 101. As Alex and Curlia were celebrating their victory, Misty slowly walked towards Alex with a bitter expression. When Misty put out her hand, Alex accepted the handshake. When Alex said, "Good fight," Misty simply gave a hollow smile. She said with a cold expression, "You are really shameless." Alex didn't answer her. Although she was right, Alex thought of her as a loser who can't accept the fact that she lost. When Alex saw two staff members putting a podium with 3 seats in the middle of the arena, he smiled. Junichi followed the staff with a neutral expression. Erika came into the arena with a microphone and a small closed wooden box. After a short speech to calm down the spectators, she asked all 3 participants, Junichi, Misty, and Alex, to go on the podium. She took out a bronze medal from the wooden box and hung it around on Junichi's neck. Together with the friendly words from Erika and the applause from the audience, a good atmosphere was created. Then she took a silver medal out of the wooden box for Misty. She also kindly comforted Misty, who had just lost. The audience also applauded loudly for Misty. In fact, it was a good deal louder than Junichi's applause. When Erika put the gold medal around Alex's neck, the whole stage was full of loud applause. All stood up in the spectator seats and cheered loudly for Alex. The achievements that Alex showed in this tournament were unprecedented. Most people don't even imagine to be able to do what Alex has accomplished. Alex, who was weaker than 5 other participants, managed to win this tournament, which impressed all spectators. You could hear the shouts for Alex's name in the arena. Alex! 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 The fireworks filled the sky, celebrating the winner of the tournament. This tournament will go down in history and will be remembered for a very long time. And the person responsible for that was none other than Alex. And with these words, I officially conclude the Kanto Rookie Tournament. Thank you, everyone, for all the support you have shown to all of us. After Erika's long farewell speech, the camera team stopped filming Erika. Most of the spectators also slowly began to leave the stage. When Erika noticed that most of the audience had left, she said with a smile to the 3, "Haha, that was tough, wasn't it? Ah, I have to give you the reward. I almost forgot about it." Alex just smiled at her statement. He could now understand a little better why Erika is so popular with the audience. The kind aura she was emanating was indeed soothing. Erika led Alex, Misty, and Junichi to a large room where Professor Walder and 3 Pokegs are in the incubator. Professor Walder looked at the 3 participants and smiled. Congratulations on reaching the top 3 in all of Kanto. These achievements are greater than you might think because the alliance is very important for talented trainers like you all. But let's talk about your reward right now. We got 3 royal Pokemon eggs from strong Pokemon from the 3 different famous professors. The 3 Pokemon are Torchic, Totodile, and Bulbasaur. You will get to choose the Pokemon in the order of your rank. First, Alex. Then Misty. And lastly, Junichi. And if you don't want the Pokemon, you can instead choose another reward. Alex, if you please. Alex, who heard the 3 options, began to think intensively about which of these Pokemon he would like to train most. Each of these Pokemon has pros and cons, so there is no obvious choice. After several minutes of intense thought, Alex picked up the Torchic's Pokemon egg. Alex thinks that Torchic is probably the best option for him, as he doesn't have a fighting or fire-type Pokemon yet, and he just likes Blaziken as a Pokemon. Blaziken is just a monster in damage dealing. It also has a very high ATK and SP ATK, which makes it very difficult to defend against his attacks well. When Alex chose his Pokemon, Professor Walder brought out a small box with a red fire symbol. Although only the first place gets this extra item, the professor had prepared 3 different items for each Pokemon just in case Alex chose another Pokemon. Alex took the small box with a curious look. He wondered what kind of reward the first place in this tournament would get. When Misty's chance came, she immediately chose Totodile as her Pokemon without any surprise. And Junichi, who knows that he can't train Grass-type Pokemon, chose another reward. He got the very rare and expensive expert belt from Professor Walder. This reward is not necessarily worse than a normal royal Pokemon, but Alex, who saw it, couldn't help but shake his head. The royal Pokemon of this tournament are definitely the elite of the royal Pokemons. So Alex found it stupid not to pick a Pokemon. Before Alex could go, Professor Walder invited him to talk about Pokemon. Of course, Alex didn't miss the chance to make friends with an influential person from the Alliance. Alex chatted with Professor Walder about various things related to Pokemon. Both realized very late that they had been talking to each other for several hours. Both exchanged their contact details before parting. Alex, who came out of his shower, looked happily at his Pokemon. They were curiously looking at the Pokemon egg in the incubator on the table. Although Alex already knows which Pokemon is in this egg, he didn't want to take away the surprise from his Pokemon. As he sat down on his chair, Alex got the small box he received today and opened it. In the small box, there were 3 large red scales that radiated warm energy. There was also a message. 3 scales from a famous professor's Charizard. Each of the 3 scales was inflicted with the fire energy of the Charizard for a week. Famous professor's Charizard? Professor Oak maybe? Doesn't matter anyway. At dinner, Alex and his Pokemon sit in their respective seats with happy expressions. Even proud Pokemon like Sizer and Crobat had a little grin on their face. Everyone was very joyful that they managed to win this tournament, and there was a festive mood around the table. Alex believed that it was probably most important to Crobat even if he didn't show it. He knows that the defeat in the Team Rocket Rookie Tournament had hurt Crobat deeply. Alex was happier for Crobat than he was for his own victory. While eating, Alex also looked at all the messages he had received from other people. He received congratulations from Lisa, Brand, Steven, and Maria. He smiled a bit when he saw the message from Maria. So, are you famous now? Alex dialed Maria's number and hit the call button. After hearing that Maria took the call, he said with a smile, "Hey, are you free tomorrow?" Finally. The date, laughing face. Chapter 102. Alex was waiting at a bank in Celadon City. Before the date, he had bought new clothes to look a little better. He also wore a soft scarf to protect himself against the cold wind. He also had his hair cut and styled. After looking at his more refined look, Alex suddenly felt a lot more handsome. Although he asked her out on a date yesterday, Alex wasn't very sure if she would agree. He was the one who was actively trying to build the relationship, and Maria has shown an indifferent attitude until now. Alex wasn't sure what Maria really thought of him. Alex sometimes wished he could read Maria's mind to make it easier for him to understand her. Upon the exact agreed time, a 16-year-old girl with dark red hair, blue eyes, and a voluminous figure came. She wore a light blue top, which goes very well with her eyes. Although this girl was gorgeous, no men showed interest in speaking to her because of the scary cold aura oozing out of her. It looked like she was going to kill anyone who dared to speak to her. Alex walked towards Maria with a smile. "Hey beauty, are you here alone?" Maria turned to see Alex looking at her with a smile. She said with a cold expression, "Alex, can you stop with your bad jokes? You're quite harsh to your date partner." "Date partner? This is not a date. Come on, you know why I invited you here today. Can't you be a little more honest?" Maria, who heard this, had an unresponsive expression when she said, "Let's go to the restaurant that's as great as you say." Alex shook his head with a smile when he heard her reply. "Let's go. We'll be late." Alex led her gently around town. The way he was so smooth that it made Maria look at Alex with a suspicious expression. "The way you are so natural in this that it makes me think you have done it many times." Alex immediately understood what she was trying to say. He gave her his classic cheeky smile and said, but you are the only person for whom I want to do it." Maria, who heard his blunt answer, couldn't help but blush for a moment as her cheeks puffed up like a little frog. But she quickly came back to her senses. "As if I will believe that." Alex, who saw her natural reaction, showed a bright smile. "You will soon find out if I'm telling the truth or not." "What does that mean?" Maria showed a confused expression. "You'll see." Maria suddenly noticed that Alex was holding her hand the entire time. "Hold on, why are you holding my hand like it's the most natural thing to do?" She looked at Alex with a cold expression. "I can't." Can't you read the atmosphere?" Alex gave a confused expression when he heard this. He couldn't really understand what she meant by that. Then he noticed something and said with a little grin on his face, "Even though you are saying that you didn't tell me to release your hand." Maria gave a short smile when she heard Alex's answer before going back to her cold expression. "Let's talk about something else. I heard you got 3rd place in this tournament." Alex, who is now in the public eye, is not so stupid to speak the name of the tournament here. Yes, I only came third. Why do you ask? Alex saw her annoyed expression and said in a sincere tone, you don't need to be annoyed for losing against those two monsters who were groomed by their strong parents for their entire life. I would feel better if I didn't hear this from you. After she said that, it suddenly got colder as a cold wind flew in their direction. It's cold. Alex, who saw that she was feeling cold in her attire, immediately took his soft scarf to wrap it around her neck. Then he said with a smile, can I score bonus points for that? Maria showed a small playful smile. Definitely not with that bad joke. Alex noticed that Maria was opening up a bit more to him and smiled as they slowly walked to the restaurant. Alex and Maria stood by one of the most expensive and best restaurants in town. Maria saw how expensive this restaurant looked like. Isn't it too expensive? It's not a lot of money for us trainers. And I am the one paying. You can forget that. I'll pay for my own food. Can't you give a man his dignity? Paying for a woman's food is your honor? No, not for every woman. Only for you. Maria, who heard this, became quiet and walked into the restaurant with a red face. Alex, who saw how he can persuade Maria, showed a smile. At the reception, a young woman around 20+ age, with a professional suit and a friendly business smile, was standing there. She had brown hair and a large bust where Alex had to suppress his instincts to look at it longer. Hello, my name is Alex Stark. There should be a private dining room reserved by my name. Yes, you are exactly on time, sir. Please follow me, I will guide you to your room. When Maria and Alex followed the woman, Maria asked, why did you reserve an entire room? Doesn't it cost too much? Hee, to impress yourself this much is worth it. Do you think I'm a woman that you can buy? Alex suppressed his instinct to agree in a funny tone. What, of course not. I'm just trying to upgrade the date. After all, this is my first date with you. You're not going to get anything out of that praise, you know? Do you think I'm such a perverse person? Maria just looked at Alex with a look full of doubt when she heard this question. Alex remembered his first meeting with Maria and stopped talking about this topic. Chapter 103. Maria and Alex sat in a beautifully decorated dining room and waited for the food they had ordered. Alex learned from Maria's choice that Maria likes sweet things. She also seems to like pistachio ice cream very much, as she was glad to know that this restaurant offers this type of ice cream. Alex just ordered a steak for himself with the same ice cream as Maria. So what are you going to do after this tournament? Alex asked. Yesterday, Sister Lisa gave me my one and only order to become an elite trainer within 1 year. Oh, I just remembered that you don't even know that I am working for Lisa now. You now also work for Executive Lisa? And why are you calling her Sister Lisa? As far as I know, you are not sisters. We just have a good relationship. Besides, she likes it when I call her like that. They both ate and talked for an hour in a quiet room with soft music playing in the background. Alex and Maria talked about a lot of different things like Pokemon training, family, hobbies. Through these conversations and the conversations Alex had with Maria when they trained together, he now knew a little more about Maria. Maria, who was given to an orphanage by her parents, grew up without a family. She was already interested in Pokemon, so she read as many books as possible about Pokemon. When she reached the age of 16, like Alex, she was kicked out of her orphanage. The Alliance only pays for children up to 15 years of age, so the orphanages usually throw out children when they become 16 years old immediately. She didn't want to tell Alex what happened after that, which confused Alex a bit. But he didn't force her to speak regarding it. When the waiter came into the room with the bill, Alex quickly paid for the meal, so Maria couldn't say anything. Maria looked at the bill in Alex's hand. She quickly grabbed the bill from Alex when he wasn't careful. 50,000 poke dollars for a meal? Alex just smiled and said, it's not very expensive if you factor in this room. Maria gave Alex a quick look when she said, didn't you tell me that you were an orphan too? Did you lie to me? Alex showed a puzzled expression on his face. Can't orphans get rich? As a Pokemon trainer, it's easy to get that amount of money. Maria irked after listening to Alex. Although I have more money than regular trainers, the amount is not much more than you spent on a meal. You don't look like a stupid person who would give almost all of your money for a meal. So you must be quite rich. Handsome, talented, funny, and rich. Wow, you really hit the jackpot, Maria. Alex said it in a witty tone. Maria just looked at Alex with her sharp eyes when he said that in a witty tone. Alex would have thought that she didn't like this statement if he hadn't seen how she smiled a bit when he said that. Alex and Maria walked out of the restaurant and slowly walked in a particular direction. Maria didn't ask where Alex was taking her. After a short silence, Alex said, "Although I don't know much about you, I really enjoy the time we spend together, like this date." Maria slightly smiled before she said, "Yeah, this was quite fun. You really are not as bad as I thought the first time I met." She laughed after remembering the first time she met Alex. Alex, who also remembered his first meeting, said with an embarrassed tone, "Can you please not mention that?" Maria, who found something to tease Alex, just smiled maliciously. "Maybe, maybe not." After a while, Alex and Maria reached a beautiful place where you can watch the sunset together. Alex held Maria's hand and watched the sun go down together. This created a romantic environment around them. Maria and Alex suddenly looked at each other at the same time. Both said nothing as their faces slowly approached. When Alex was just about to kiss Maria's lips, Maria kissed Alex's cheek and pulled her head back. Then she said with a smirk, "Do you really think that I'm such an easy girl?" Alex, who heard this, briefly showed a frustrated expression. Then after calming his mind and thinking about it a bit, he said with a smile, "Well, at least it shows me that someone is also interested." Maria blushed for a moment after hearing this. After that, she made a stoic face as she took out a pokeball. A Pidgeot nearly 2 meters tall appeared in front of Alex. Shortly before Alex could ask where she got this Pokemon, Maria climbed on her Pokemon and flew away. Alex saw how Maria made a nice exit, couldn't help but give a wry smile. As Maria flew away, Alex looked at the information about her Pokemon. Pokemon. Pidgeot. LV. 33. Type. Normal/flying. Abilities. Keen Eye. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow Gold. Moves. Tackle, Sand Attack, Gust, Mirror Move, Quick Attack, Wing Attack, Roost, Whirlwind, Agility. Innate Talent, Fly E. Innate Talent, Roost. Innate Talent, Hyper Beam. TM, Protect. TM, Facade. Is that one of her new Pokemon? I have to ask her next time how she got such a Pokemon. Usually, it is not easy to get a gold Pokemon. Maybe it was deep silver before upgrading to gold. Anyway, I'll ask her next time. As Alex slowly walked towards his hotel, he heard the ringtone from the TRH device. When he saw that it was his executive Lisa, he immediately picked up the call. "Hey, Alex, I have good news for you." "Oh, and what could be that?" "The boss wants to see you." Chapter 104, Bonus Chapter. Pewter City, Team Rocket Underground Base. Alex went to Lisa's office, accompanied by Brand. Brand talked to Alex about various things while they were walking. For example, Lars seldom leaves Lisa's office, and that Lars apparently got a relatively valuable Pokemon from Lisa. When they were only a few meters from Lisa's office, Brand turned around and said to Alex, "Okay, it was nice to talk to you. I'll be going then." After that, he walked away quickly. Alex saw how afraid Brand was of Lisa and smiled a little. Even though Lisa is a crazy, sadistic woman, she's not that bad if you know her a little bit. At least for Alex, Lisa is not as bad as the rumors say about her. Although that is probably still relatively bad. Brand stopped after walking a few meters. He turned around and said to Alex, Alex, I have one important tip for you. Don't forget to knock before you enter Boss Lisa's office." After saying that, he immediately continued walking further away. Though Alex noticed that his walking speed was faster than before. Alex, who saw this reaction from Brand, knew that Lisa must have done something to Brand to cause such deep fear. He swallowed hard as he looked again at the door of Lisa's office, which was started to look very demonic in his head. I'm starting to react like Brand. There's no logical reason for me to be so scared, right? Did I sell my soul for a few valuable items? Alex went and knocked on the door. After a few seconds, he heard the words, "Come in." Alex, who opened the door, saw Lisa sitting on her office chair at her table and watching him with a bright smile. Here is my little Lucky Charm." Alex, who heard this name, showed a confused expression. "Is it because of my performance in the Kanto tournament?" Lisa replied smilingly, "No. I didn't give you this name just because of this Kanto tournament. Do you remember when you got the reward for being the first rookie who conquered his Pokemon?" Alex felt confused but still nodded. "Do you know that I was in a relatively bad mood because you weren't as cute as I was hoping?" Without waiting for Alex to answer, she continued with a smile. "Because why, you were so tough, I was in a bad mood. So I went outside to relax a bit, and when I flew with my Fiero over Viridian Forest I found something special. Can you guess what did I find? Lugia? Oh, I like smart kids." "Yes, you're right. That and this tournament is the reason why I'm sure that you are my little lucky charm. Then she started praising Alex. Alex, this time, you really outdid yourself. The talent you showed in the Kanto rookie tournament really impressed the boss. You are really. Lisa, who praised Alex for several minutes, seemed like a big sister, praising her little brother. Alex, who saw how friendly Lisa was to him, couldn't help but think about his stupid thoughts a few seconds ago. Okay, let's talk more later. I don't want to keep the boss waiting. Then she took out a pokeball and called her Alakazam. Are you ready? Alex nodded and looked at the information about Lisa's Alakazam. He wanted to see if something had changed in the last 2 months. Pokemon. Alakazam. LV. 50. Attributes. Psychic. Abilities. Inner focus. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow gold. Moves. Disable. Kinesis. Teleport. E. Psybeam. Ally switch. Psycho cut. Recover. Psyshock. Roleplay. Future sight. Innate talent. Substitute. E. Innate talent. Reflect. Innate talent. Psychic. E. TM. Fire punch. TM. Ice punch. TM. Thunder punch. TM. Hyperbeam. TM. Light screen. E. TM. Protect. TM. Calm mind. Alex, who saw that Lisa's Alakazam is now on the shallow gold rank, wasn't surprised at all. Lisa, who can produce psychic-type items, poor Lugia, and is promoted, will now have many ways to improve her Alakazam. Although it is considerably challenging to improve a Pokemon after gold, Lisa should have no problem bringing her main Pokemon to the shallow gold rank with her resources. What really surprised Alex is that her level has gone up so slowly. After almost 2 months, the level only increased by 1. Alex, who saw this, could now understand why some famous trainers say, elite rank is the beginning. Alex, who was lost in his thoughts, teleported out of Lisa's office. After Alex was teleported from Lisa's office, Lisa looked down and said softly, "Carry on. Ah, good boy." Alex suddenly appeared in a large and beautifully decorated hallway. This hallway looked very classy and of high quality as many beautiful pictures hang on the wall. There were only 1 elevator and 1 door at the opposite ends of the hallway leading to the outside. Alex, who was teleported just a few meters in front of the high-quality door, could imagine that the boss was waiting for him behind this door. Without thinking further, Alex knocked on the door. "Come in." An imposing voice came from inside. Alex gulped and opened the door in front of him. A middle-aged man with a short haircut was sitting at his chair behind a large bureau table. Next to the man was a large Persian who was passively being stroked by the man. I say that before anyone asks. No, I won't make a lemon with Lisa and Lars. Thank you for all Power Stones. Especially thanks to the top 17 Power Stones. 1. Unknown. 2. Ringiabarai. 3. Darks Japa. Petwar Draik Pimp 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 Pimp. 5. Anonymous X. 6. For the Memes. 7. Kairos. 8. Oboro 21. 9. Thorn Devil. 10. Rock _ Vidra. 11. N0B0DY. 12. South Haven. 13. The _last garden. 14. Key Area. 15. Max School Chapter 105. Pokemon. Persian. LV. 59. Type. Normal. Abilities. Technician. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Bite. Fake Out E. Growl. Scratch. Bite. Taunt E. Payday. Feint. Fury Swipes. Screech. Swift E. Power Gem. Slash. Nasty Plot. E. Assurance. Captivate. Innate Talent. Shadow Ball E. Innate Talent. Thunderbolt E. Innate Talent. Hyper Beam M. TM. Protect. TM. Facade. TM. Rest. TM. Roar. TM. Toxic. TM. Hidden Power E. TM. Double Team. TM. Aerial Ace. TM. Giga Impact. TM. Thief. TM. Substitute. TM. Sleep Talk. Alex thought after seeing this, is this really a pet and not a Pokemon of an Elite Four member? The fact that he has 7 expert moves and 1 master move is just monstrous. No wonder Giovani doesn't have a bodyguard around him. Who needs them when you have a monster sitting around you? Giovani saw Alex making a shocked expression when he saw his Persian and showed a satisfied smirk. This smile quickly went away and was replaced by a dignified expression. Alex Stark, right? Sit. Alex, who heard this, sat down immediately without thinking much. He didn't want to accidentally offend Giovani and make a poor impression. Giovani took the report that was on his table and looked at Alex like he was analyzing him. Alex Stark. Age 16. No living relatives. Lived at the Van Orphanage in Pewter City for 15 years. He paused briefly before continuing with a neutral expression on his face. Talent value. 88 before, but now uncertain. Intelligence. Very high, but difficult to assess. Loyalty. Unknown. Mental state. Stable but difficult to assess. He stopped talking for a second before continuing. Pokemon. Crobat. Estimated level 35-38. Estimated potential S. Sizer. Estimated level 35-38. Estimated potential S. Kirlia. Estimated level 30-33. Estimated potential S. Ditto. Estimated level? Estimated potential? Shereldon. Estimated level? Estimated potential? After he had said that, he looked at Alex, who was getting more and more nervous. Giovani said with a little smile. Impressive. Along with this, the way you won against Mason, Junichi, and Misty, who were stronger than you, really impressed me. Alex tried to keep a calm expression when he said sincerely, Thank you, boss. Giovani gave a friendly smile when he said, Why so serious? I just want to find out a little more about you by reading this list. Do you know that I am particularly good at reading other people when they lie? This skill is one of the reasons why I reached the position where I am today. Alex didn't know whether Giovani was speaking the truth or not. But he didn't really want to find that out. By the way, you shouldn't think that I can't handle the truth. As long as you're not an Alliance spy, I can promise you that I won't harm you as long as you really tell me what you're thinking. Are you ready for my questions? Alex, who has an indifference for Team Rocket and the Alliance, knew that Giovani wouldn't have any particular problem with that fact. Knowing the personalities of his direct subordinates, Giovani should be a very friendly boss as long as you are useful and don't exceed his line. There is a reason why he is so popular among his subordinates. When Alex nodded, Giovani asked, What is your attitude towards Team Rocket? Alex wanted to say positively, but didn't risk lying to Giovani. Neutral. Giovani only nodded to this answer. Giovani knows that no one would be instantly loyal to him. Loyalty takes time to build. He can take his time to make sure that Alex is faithful and useful to Team Rocket. What is your attitude towards the Alliance? Neutral, but with a slight contempt. Giovani, who heard this answer, showed a friendly smile as if he knew that Alex was telling the truth. Good, very good. Do you know how rare it is that I get such a talented newbie? Alex, who suddenly felt a friendly aura from Giovani, let out a deep breath. This pressure really wasn't easy to bear. Thank you, boss. But I know that I'm still quite weak. No need to be humble around me. I know that you got your first Pokemon only about 2 months ago. In my estimation, you will probably become an elite trainer in a month or 2. If you manage to become an elite trainer within 4 months, you will be even faster than me. Alex smiled slightly and thanked him for his praise. Giovani suddenly got serious again and said with a neutral expression, Unfortunately, you made a small mistake by winning this tournament. Alex thought for a few seconds before saying, Are you talking about the Alliance, boss? Giovani was nodded with a stern expression. Yes, now that you have won, the Alliance will check whether you are really a normal citizen trainer or not. Alex, who overheard this, made a serious expression when he said, But how is the Alliance going to find out? Giovani, who heard this question, showed a little smile. Of course, they have no way to find out immediately with 100% certainty. Also, the Alliance takes its time to check several things. But if you are actively trying to find a high position in the Alliance, they'll ask you questions in an interview. For example, they will ask you where do you get your money for your Pokemon food, training items, and valuable items in general. Normally, they will not ask where you got your Pokemon from because many catch their Pokemon from the wild, which is not surprising. Not to mention, you don't have a super rare Pokemon species. Alex replied in a confident manner, Boss, I've already thought about an excuse. Giovani raised an eyebrow hearing this. Oh, tell me about it. Alex knew that Giovani probably wanted to test him with this. I made a very influential friend, to whom I did a favor. This friend rewarded me with many valuable items. I will say that I got the money from these items. The statement that I have an influential friend and that he gave me valuable items for my help is true. Only that I sold the items for money is not true. But this statement is almost impossible to check. Giovani showed a slight expression of disappointment when listening. Although it sounded relatively good, It has one major flaw. Is that your plan? Alex understood why Giovani was disappointed when he said with a smile. Almost, boss. If the Alliance tries to verify my statement, they will find out what is wrong with it. They will likely ask how I got money before this. And I will only answer that questions with the words, like every other trainer, and refuse to answer any further. After all, I am not a criminal, so I am not obliged to answer. Most trainers get money from missions in the Alliance or from selling Pokemon on the black market. Although the Alliance prohibits the sale of Pokemon without permission, it's more of a gray area than an actual law. Oh, I see. Trap within a trap. Pretty good plan. Thank you, boss. Unfortunately, I have a problem. Some Team Rocket members have seen my face that makes it unlikely that the Alliance will trust me. Although the testimony of low Team Rocket members is not worth much, it is still very suspicious if more than a few members say it. Giovani smiled when he said, well, I can do something about that. Chapter 106. Giovani paused for a second before continuing. I'll just send some members who have broken my rules to a mission, and tell them that I'll give them a new chance if they successfully complete this mission. At the mission, some Team Rocket members will happen to see one subordinate wearing a ditto mask of Misty. After they try to accomplish the impossible mission and fail, they will be arrested by the Alliance. When the Alliance realizes that Misty is very likely not a Rocket Team member, they will think that Team Rocket was trying to accuse the future talented trainers of the Alliance. Giovani said with an indifferent face. After that, they will greatly reduce the credibility of low-level Team Rocket members. Although this method cannot be used with high-level Team Rocket members, it doesn't matter because you only met 3 high-level Team Rocket members. Lisa, Brand, and Maria, who recently became a captain. The likelihood that one of these 3 would be so stupid to sell you out to the Alliance is almost 0. And even if either of them does, the Alliance is unlikely to believe it 100%. Alex, who heard this, got little goosebumps. Giovani apparently has no problem sacrificing his useless pieces for useful ones. And these pieces are not game figures. Although it's not surprising that Giovani would do something like that, the thought itself was very unsettling. Besides, Alex knows that Giovani didn't tell him everything. The Alliance actually has 2 options to respond to the accusation of the low Team Rocket members. First, they will lower the credibility of these kinds of statements from that moment, and allow Alex to infiltrate them more easily. Or second, they will have a slight distrust of Misty, and thus lose one of their future geniuses. No matter what the Alliance does, Giovani benefits from it. Giovani didn't wait for an answer and continued speaking with an indifferent tone. Although that can solve this problem relatively well, you always have to enter the Team Rocket base with a new face. Fortunately, you already have Ditto, so I think that is not a problem. Giovani took out a new ID card with a new face and name. He gave it to Alex and said, I will also speak to the 3 high-ranking members regarding this, so they will know about your situation. When he saw Alex taking the ID card, he said, as of today, Alex Stark's data in Team Rocket has been completely deleted. Although only a few people have access to it, it is better to play it safe, right? Alex agreed with this statement and thanked Giovani for the effort he put in. Okay, enough about that. I still have a reward for you. Giovani took out a piece of paper and a map from the drawer and wordlessly handed it to Alex. Alex saw that the map is of an island that harbors a lot of strong and rare Pokemon. Giovani looked at Alex and said with a faint smile, I have no job for you as you are not strong enough yet. Thus you are free for now. But you still have a lot to do. Giovani glanced at the map while speaking the last sentence. Then he ignored Alex as he continued to look at his papers. Alex, who saw this, understood that this chat was over and he should go. In addition, it was an indirect tip that he can get stronger faster on this island. Giovani knows that Alex wants to get stronger quickly, so he doesn't even have to tell anything about this to Alex specifically. This indirect type of manipulation is quite impressive. He politely said goodbye to Giovani, who continued to ignore him when Alex walked out the door. Alex, who came out of the door, saw Lisa's Alakazam in the hallway. He appeared to be waiting for Alex. Alakazam quickly went to Alex and, without waiting, teleported both of them from the hallway. Alex and Alakazam suddenly appeared outside of Lisa's office. Alex, who saw this, had a confused expression, and he looked in the direction of Alakazam. He thought that he would appear again in Lisa's room, which made him a little bemused. Alakazam showed a helpless face when she saw Alex's questioning gaze. She showed a gesture saying that Alex can go now. Alex, who didn't receive a reply from Alakazam, showed a curious expression on his face as he slowly left. Although Alex knew that he would probably see something extreme if he went to Lisa's office, he thought about what Lisa would do to him if he really did that. and he started walking away faster. After all, Alex could already predict what Lisa might be doing in her office after thinking about it a little bit now, and he would rather avoid seeing that. Alex entered the room and saw that Sizer, who was supposed to take care of the Pokemon egg, was standing in front of the TV and watching it while exercising. When he saw that, he knew that it was better to let Kirlia take care of the Pokemon egg. Even Ditto would be better than Sizer as a babysitter. Unfortunately, he needs the teleporting ability and the ability to change his face to save himself in an emergency. So he had chosen Sizer as the babysitter. He doesn't expect much from Sizer. Just that when the egg hatches, Torchic doesn't find itself alone. Alex looked rather annoyed at the Sizer that was training. When he saw that the egg had not yet hatched, he felt a little better. Alex wasn't mad at Sizer, but at himself for the fact that he couldn't take care of the egg. He made up his mind not to go and train here until the egg hatch. In this expensive hotel, there is also a Pokemon training room that you can rent to train. Alex and his Pokemon just finished their hard training session, and it was time to relax. But Alex suddenly heard the sound of something cracking. He turned his face and found the Pokemon egg 1 meter away from him had started hatching. Torchic, who came out of its egg, looked at its surroundings with a curious look. This newborn Torchic was only 20 centimeters long, half the size of a fully grown Torchic. Alex took Torchic in his hand and said with a bright smile, "Welcome to this world, Torchic." Torchic just curiously looked at Alex. When it felt the warmth from Alex's hands, it laid down on Alex's hands and looked at him. Alex put it on his lap and took the Moo Moo milk bottle out of his TRH device. Then he started feeding Torchic like a little baby. After Torchic drank half the bottle, it slowly closed its eyes and slept on Alex's lap. Alex saw that he couldn't get up now, showed no annoyed expression. He looked at the info of his new family member. Pokemon. Torchic. LV, 1. Type. Fire. Abilities. Speed boost. Hidden ability. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow gold. Move. Growl, unusable. Scratch, unusable. Ember, unusable. Innate talent, attract, unusable. Innate talent, sunny day, unusable. Innate talent, overheat, unusable. Alex saw the info of Torchic and made a surprised face. Shallow gold? Speed boost? Female? Attract. Chapter 107. When Alex lifted his head, he saw all of his Pokemon staring curiously at the sleeping Torchic. Sizer and Crobat showed no emotion on their face, but their curious eyes betrayed them. In contrast to Sizer and Crobat, Kirlia, Ditto, and Shereldon openly showed their joy about the new member. Kirlia was especially happy that she is finally not the only female in this group. Though she didn't say anything, she was looking forward to talking to Torchic. Alex said quietly, "I can understand your joy, but we will wait until Torchic wakes up before we say hello." Sizer said, "Humph," says the guy who has already said his hello. Kirlia heard what Sizer was saying, and Alex could hear a voice over telepathy. Alex showed a surprised expression when he heard Sizer's reply. He didn't think Sizer would be so jealous just because he had talked to her first. Could it be that he wanted to build a good relationship with the other fighting-type Pokemon? Could it be that you are looking for a sparring partner? Sizer made a surprised face. "What are you talking about? Why should I fight a baby?" "No, I mean that you want to fight another fighting-type Pokemon in the long run." He just ignored Alex and started his training again. Alex just smiled seeing this, and thought, why do I feel very respected and not respected at the same time? Crobat went to Sizer to indicate that he had assured the win in this tournament. In contrast, Sizer told Crobat that he did not fight the strongest Pokemon and should keep his mouth shut. Then they started arguing relatively quietly with each other. Alex, who saw that they were showing consideration for Torchic by bickering quietly, didn't say anything and just smiled slightly. He forgot for a moment that these two Pokemon have probably killed more creatures than a serial killer. Shereldon, who is the youngest and is still a child in human years, showed a great curiosity when he looked at Torchic. Alex saw this and said with a smile, "Shereldon, you are a big brother now. So you should always take care of your little sister from now on." Shereldon showed a surprised expression when he heard these words, but after a few seconds showed a serious expression. But because of his small size and age, this serious expression looked incredibly cute. Kirlia, who saw this expression, couldn't help but stroke Shereldon's head. Shereldon did nothing and let Kirlia stroke him with a happy face. Alex, who saw this, could only shake his head. He just hoped that Shereldon took his words seriously. He saw how it was quiet again and took out his TRH device to check if there was anything interesting to buy. Even though he had spent a lot of money in the past few weeks, especially after buying the TM Sandstorm, he still had a lot of money left. During the 12 days in this city, he sold a lot of silver Pokemon and made a quick buck. Although his money was slowly becoming scarce, he can always get more money by going to a new city's black market to buy, sell silver Pokemon. Alex's money. 359,800 TR points. 233,000 Poke Dollars. While looking through the items from the Team Rocket shop, he checked the limited items section. Among all the relatively useless things, one item piqued Alex's interest. Heart of an Elite Raticate. 10/20. Price. 25,000 TR points. Even though it's just an item from Raticate, it was valuable to him. Every heart from a strong Pokemon is quite helpful, especially from elite Pokemon and higher. Alex looked at Ditto, who was playing chess against Kirlia, and knew that he can probably increase Ditto's potential with this. Although it was expensive and buying another silver Pokemon would be more efficient, Alex was willing to pay that money. He paid 250,000 TR points and waited to receive a transfer request. Now that his TRH device could teleport small items, he no longer has to go to the Team Rocket base to receive the items. After 20 minutes, Alex received a request to transfer an item. Alex put his TRH device on the table and accepted the request. After just a second, a small box could be seen on the table. Alex moved the box and accepted the next request. After repeating this 9 times, there were 10 boxes on Alex's table. He opened one of these boxes and saw a bloody heart lying inside. It had a cold aura like it was just taken out from the refrigerator. Alex didn't lose any time and put 9 of these hearts in his TRH device. He knows that the temperature of the items stored in the TRH device doesn't change, though he never cared about how and why. He went to Ditto and said with a smile, "Hey Ditto, I found a way to increase your potential a bit." Ditto showed a surprised and happy expression as he quickly ran, crawl, like a puppy in the direction of Alex. Alex opened the box and put a heart in front of Ditto, who absorbed it in his body without hesitation. It looked like slime was slowly dissolving its prey. Although this process was very sluggish, Ditto managed to absorb the heart. Alex knew that he probably had not increased Ditto's potential, but he still checked the info. Pokemon. Ditto. LV. 32. Type. Normal. Abilities. Imposter. Hidden ability. Gender. Genderless. Potential. Shallow silver. Move. Innate talent. Transform, E. Although he expected that, he couldn't help but be disappointed. Alex could only hope that he can increase Ditto's potential with the other 9 hearts. Although only 1 heart can be eaten per day in order to make the most out of it, 9 days are not really long for Alex. Chapter 108, Bonus Chapter. 8 days later. It was breakfast time for Alex and his Pokemon. The atmosphere around the Pokemon was relatively good. They were looking forward to finally leaving this hotel and going to this island. The map and papers that Giovani gave to Alex lead to a remote island in the middle of the ocean. The island is relatively easy to reach if you went to Fuchsia City and followed the papers with the help of a water-type or flying-type Pokemon. Although Crobat cannot carry Alex for very long, a few hours should not be a problem. The map is, of course, a map of the whole island. It also has marked the dangerous areas and rare Pokemon that can be found there. Even though it is only a map, this information can be very valuable for trainers who want to catch good Pokemon and become stronger relatively faster. There are 23 different areas on the map, all of which are divided into green, orange, and red according to the danger level. Each of these areas has a strong Pokemon or a Pokemon group that controls it. If an area is green, it doesn't mean that there are no hazards in this area. It just means that there is no particularly powerful Pokemon or unknown dangers. As long as you have 3 Pokemon with an average level of 30, you should be able to pass this area safely, even without a Pokemon that can determine the danger earlier. Of course, you won't be able to find any valuable items or rare Pokemon. Orange area means that there are more elite rank Pokemon in this area and other dangerous. While it's relatively safe if you know what you're doing, it's not impossible to die there if you're not careful enough. The recommended strength for trainers is at least 1 elite Pokemon, a faster flying-type Pokemon, and a Pokemon that is skillful in detecting other Pokemon. The red area is relatively unexplored and has unknown danger. It doesn't mean that this area is necessarily more dangerous than an orange area, but it has the risk of running into a level 60 Pokemon there with bad luck. The areas are labeled this way. Area 1 #. Danger level. Green. Pokemon leader. Mid-elite Butterfree, strong, but does not attack trainers unprovoked. Rare Pokemon. None. Rare items. None. Area 13 Hashtag. Danger level. Orange. Pokemon leader. Low elite Houndoom, very fast and aggressive. Rare Pokemon. Houndoom, Natu. Rare items. White Apricorn. Area 17 Hashtag. Danger level. Red. Pokemon leader. Rare Pokemon, Aaron. Rare items. Low elite equals level 4049. Mid elite equals level 5054. High elite equals level 5559. Alex, who is going to go to Fuchsia City today, was already looking forward to what valuable Pokemon he will find on this island. In these 8 days in this hotel, Torchic had grown enough to start training. Although Alex didn't want to send her into a direct fight yet, he could now use at least light training for Torchic. Of course, not only Torchic had gotten stronger but his other Pokemon too. Though Crobat and Scizor were still at level 35. Pokemon. Crobat. LV. 35. Type. Poison/flying. Abilities. Inner focus. Gender. Male. Potential. Gold. Moves. Absorb, Supersonic, Astonish, Bite, Wing Attack, Confuse Ray, Swift, Haze, Leech Life, Mean Look. Innate Talent. Shadow Ball, E. Innate Talent. Fly, E. Innate Talent. Cross Poison. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Sludge Bomb, TM, Facade, TM, Taunt. Pokemon. Scizor. LV. 35. Type. Bug/Steel. Abilities. Technician. Gender. Male. Potential. Gold. Moves. Leer, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Double Team, Feint, Fury Cutter, Wing Attack, Agility, Slash, Razor Wind. Innate Talent. Roost, E. Innate Talent. Metal Claw, E. Innate Talent. Brick Break. TM, Protect, TM, Toxic, TM, Thief, TM, Facade, TM, Giga Impact, TM, U-Turn, TM, Sandstorm, TM, Substitute. Pokemon. Kirlia. LV. 31. Type. Psychic/Fairy. Abilities. Telepathy. Gender. Female. Potential. Gold. Move. Growl, Confusion, Double Team, Teleport, Disarming Voice, Lucky Chant, Magical Leaf, Heal Pulse, Draining Kiss, Psychic. Innate Talent. Disable, E. Innate Talent. Calm Mind, E. Innate Talent. Dazzling Gleam. TM, Protect, TM, Shadow Ball, TM, Will-O-Wisp, TM, Thunderbolt, TM, Thunderwave, TM, Helping Hand. Pokemon. Ditto. LV. 32. Type. Normal. Abilities. Imposter. Hidden Ability. Gender. Genderless. Potential. Silver. Move. Innate Talent. Transform, E. Pokemon. Sherelden. LV. 26. Type. Rock/Steel. Abilities. Sturdy. Gender. Male. Potential. Shallow Gold. Move. Protect, Tackle, Taunt, Metal Sound, Takedown, Iron Defense, Swagger. Innate Talent. Rock Polish, E. Innate Talent. Sleep Talk. Innate Talent. Flamethrower. Pokemon. Torchic. LV. 5. Type. Fire. Abilities. Speed Boost. Hidden Ability. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow Gold. Move. Growl, Scratch, Ember. Innate Talent. Attract. Innate Talent. Sunny Day. Innate Talent. Overheat. Alex started receiving 3 liters of Lugia blood and 1 Lugia scales with psychic power per day from Lisa, 30 days ago. He gave Kirlia and Crobat the items every day so that they could hopefully improve their potential. After 27 days, Crobat managed to reach the gold rank. And Kirlia managed to get to the gold rank after 29 days with the help of the scales. Although Crobat had already increased its potential, Alex continued to give the blood from Lugia to Crobat to make it even easier to increase Crobat's potential later on. Kirlia was a different case. Alex no longer gave the Lugia scales to Kirlia to absorb the psychic powers. He wanted to save it for when Kirlia evolves so that he can increase her potential more effortlessly. Although he knows that Kirlia will only absorb a small number of scales during the evolution process, it is still much more effective. Besides, he can use the remaining scales later anyway when Kirlia has evolved into Gardevoir. Ditto also managed to improve his potential after absorbing 8 heart, which made Alex very happy. Unfortunately, not all Pokemon were able to rank up as Alex had hoped. Although Sheldon ate the 30 pieces of steel and rock from his talent agron every day, he couldn't improve his potential. Although Alex still has the steel plate from an S-talent agron on the champion rank, Alex didn't want to use it. He decided to use it when Sheldon evolves. Alex guessed that Sheldon probably has 99/100 points on the shallow gold rank and doesn't need much to get on the gold rank. You could say he is half-step gold rank, being just one step away from reaching the gold rank. Though that's just a theory of Alex, and it's hard to prove. Although Caesar evolved faster, keep in mind that he ate the lance and 30 pieces of steel, which makes it difficult to determine if Caesar could have improved his potential without eating the lance. If he had known that Sheldon just needs a little more, he would have given the rest of the steel pieces from Caesar after he has evolved and not fed them to Caesar every day. But Alex shook his head after having this thought. I can't foresee something like that, and it would also be very unfair to Caesar because of the possibility of making his next potential improvement more difficult. Chapter 109. Alex, Curlia, and Crobat walk the streets of Celadon City with happy expressions. The victory had specifically improved the mood of Crobat and Alex, thus making Curlia even more joyful, which led to this situation. While leaving, all passers-by looked in the direction of Alex with a curious gaze, and a few children went to Alex asking for an autograph. As the winner of the Kanto Rookie Tournament, Alex is now a minor celebrity, especially in the city where this tournament took place. Alex felt a bit annoyed that he was wasting his time but fulfilled the children's wish and gave each of these children an autograph. Alex, who also wanted to have a good position in the alliance, wouldn't want to be appeared unfriendly. He has to maintain his image from now on. Although Alex is a Team Rocket member, he has not ruled out the option of switching to the Alliance's side if it's worthwhile. Team Rocket and the Alliance are only tools for Alex to become stronger and can be replaced at any time if necessary. Of course, he has to consider the consequences of that before doing it. It would be ideal for Alex if he can have a high position in both organizations, so that he can draw the double amount of advantages. After giving the autographs, he looked at Crobat. Crobat, who understood what Alex wanted to do, flapped his wings suddenly that created a little gust of wind, and people made some space for them. After that, Alex and Curlia sat on top of Crobat, and Crobat took off. Alex, who looked at the ground and saw that he is around 50 meters high, showed no fear. Although it was very high, he knew that it is not dangerous. Alex knows that Crobat can fly faster than the speed he can fall, which allows Alex not to be afraid of accidentally falling down. Crobat preventing the strong headwind made it a smooth and comfortable flight. When Alex was flying with Crobat towards Fuchsia City, he noticed many flying-type Pokemon like Pidgey and Spearow flying in groups. And each of these groups had a strong leader who led their group, like Fiero and Pidgeot. Alex, who was relatively far away, looked at the information about each of these Pokemon and found any Pokemon special. Although there were a few silver Pokemon in the groups, it was not worth it for Alex to provoke these groups for them, especially when you consider the fact that the leader of each of these groups was at a higher level than Crobat. Along with that, Alex could only use Crobat, who knew Fly. And Crobat was carrying him, so it was almost impossible to win. Although he could attack and lure this group to the ground, it was relatively risky and not worth it, especially when you consider that he has to defend against a large group of Pokemon too. Fighting against a group that is not much weaker than is incredibly dangerous. As long as you are not 10 or 15 levels higher than all of them, you should avoid such fights. They were now flying over the water, and Alex noticed Crobat looking at the water like inspecting something. The calm surface of the water hides a lot of powerful and valuable Pokemon that are just waiting to be found. Unfortunately for Alex, who does not have a water Pokemon and an underwater suit, it was dangerous to go close to the water. Although it's a shame because Alex has the ability to quickly discover the valuable water-type Pokemon in this ocean, it was not possible for him currently. I'll probably come later when I have a strong water-type Pokemon that can protect me underwater. After 2 hours, Alex, who was sitting on Crobat and flying over the ocean, saw a relatively large island in the middle of the sea. Alex took out his map and compared the island to the one drawn on the map. This must be the island on the map. Crobat land on the coast. The coast was a green area, which is a good place to land. Alex felt a little better after finally getting on the solid ground. Flying in the air for 2 straight hours is really not easy, even if you know that it is relatively safe. He immediately took out all of his Pokemon and warned them of the dangers on this island. Alex bought 2 months of food for himself and his Pokemon, so that they can train here for 2 months without having to fly back. He looked directly at the map to find out more information in front of this area. Area 3 #. Danger level. Green. Pokemon leader. Low elite Kingler, strong, but relatively slow on land. Rare Pokemon, None. Rare items? None. He looked around the coast to see if he could notice any Pokemon from here. After a bit, he looked like a large group of Krabby and Kingler sunbathing at the seashore. Although Alex was very far away. But fortunately, Alex could see all Pokemon's information within sight and didn't have to get any closer. There's 14 Krabby and 5 Kingler. The Krabby are generally around levels 529 and have decent potential, that being deep normal through silver. 4 Kinglers are between shallow bronze and silver and are between levels 26-35. The leader of this group was quite formidable. Pokemon. Kingler. LV. 39. Type. Water. Abilities. Hyper Cutter. Gender. Female. Potential. Deep silver. Move. Bubble, Mud Sport, Vice Grip, Leer, Harden, Bubble Beam, Mud Shot, Metal Claw, Stomp. Innate Talent, X-Scissor, E, Chapter 110. Level 39 shows that this Kingler is not the leader of this area. But, she is of the same species as the leader of this area. So it is safe to assume that she is somehow related to the leader. Alex thought of an idea. He slowly walked with his Pokemon in the direction of the group of this Pokemon bathing in the sun. Kingler, the leader, showed a wary expression as she saw Alex and his Pokemon getting closer. Kingler is a relatively hostile Pokemon species. It's not a Pokemon that doesn't respond to provocations. She immediately showed a ready-to-fight expression when she saw that Alex was only 15 meters away. Alex just smiled and said, "Hello there. I am not looking for any trouble. I have come here just to suggest something if you are willing to listen." Kingler answered in the Pokemon language, and Alex understood it immediately via telepathy of Kirlia. "What do you want?" Alex was happy to see that this Kingler was willing to listen to him. "I want to trade some of the items of your collection." Kingler is known to collect glittering things, so Alex thought this group must have found many treasures in the sea which can be useful. Although most things are probably worthless, he doesn't think all of these items are useless. Kingler gave a sour expression as she yelled, "You want my treasure? You can forget about that right away. This won't happen." Alex, who was expecting this, brought out a large bag of excellent Pokemon food. Excellent Pokemon food is one of the few edible items for almost all Pokemon in this world. Even ghost Pokemon can relatively enjoy this food. While it's not as effective and tasty as the food for a specific Pokemon species, it's not much worse either. Like the food from the excellent food line, after long periods of eating, it can also improve the potential of a Pokemon that eats it. He had bought excellent Pokemon food enough to last for 6 months, so that he can give the best food immediately to the Pokemon he caught. But now that he saw a Kingler, he thought of this good idea. Alex continued explaining his proposition. "But I probably have something you would be interested in. Here, try it." He took out a small pouch and threw it in the direction of Kingler. Kingler recognized that this was not an attack and immediately caught it. She opened the bag with her claws and peeked curiously to see what's inside. When she saw food, she looked disappointed in the direction of Alex. "Just food? You want to swap my treasures for food?" She started getting angry at the end of the sentence. Even though it's food, it's a high-quality food that you've never eaten. Plus, after a long period of eating, it can improve the potential of a Pokemon. I think you should understand how valuable this food is. Kingler was amazed for a moment after hearing this. "Really? How can I know that you are not lying to steal my treasures with your food? You, humans, are known for your lies. I can't put my trust in you." Alex, who heard this, showed a solemn expression. "You can easily find this out by eating the food. Although it may not improve your potential immediately, you should notice that this food improves your body slightly. Although I recommend giving it to a member of your group with poor potential, so that it is easier to distinguish whether it can improve the potential or not." Kingler showed a thoughtful expression when she heard these words from Alex's mouth. She took the food that Alex gave her and gave it to one of her nephew, whose potential was bad. Alex saw the Kingler giving the food to a deep normal Krabby and smiled. The worse the potential is, the more apparent the effect of the food will be. And with a little bit of luck, Krabby might turn into shallow bronze Krabby this moment. The level 5 Krabby ate the food and suddenly felt his whole body getting stronger. He was thrilled with his newfound strength. Kingler was very good at assessing the potential of her species. She recognized that her nephew had really improved his potential right away. She showed a serious expression and looked in the direction of Alex's Pokemon. When she realized that Alex was a bit too strong to rob safely, she said, "Okay, I'm ready to trade. What do you want for the food?" "I'm not sure. Please show me what you've got." Kingler nodded and asked the second strongest Kingler to fetch her treasure. The Kingler immediately went into the water. It will take a while before he brings my treasures here. Alex nodded and said, no problem. While we wait, we can have our younger family members fight each other for combat experience. What do you say? Kingler looked at the Torchic and nodded. Then she said something to the Krabby, who had just become a shallow bronze Pokemon. Krabby nodded and stood in front of the group in a ready-to-fight stance. Pokémon, Krabby. LV, 5. Type, Water. Abilities, Hyper Cutter. Gender, Male. Potential, Shallow Bronze. Move, Bubble, Mud Sport, Vice Grip.